Nerdrotic.com.
Hey! Welcome, everyone, to the Nerdrotic Nooner. I almost said Friday Night Tights. Little early for that. It's hump day. Greetings. Yes, I have a new microphone, and Q is gone, but he'll be back. I just got to figure out where I'm going to mount Q. That probably doesn't sound very good. So in the meantime, Gina can handle the duties, as always, because she's got the biggest set of balls in Hollywood. Anyway, metaphorically speaking, of course. So where do we start today? Wow. The universe tends to unfold as it should. And we've had a lot of examples over the last 72 hours, few days, of Hollywood reaching peak stupidity. Hollywood is dumb. Collectively, it's a simpleton. And that's why we're getting, such things like the Predator casting, pronouns being inserted in a Sandman casting announcement. This is all post the Oscars absolute disaster, right? So we're seeing all this play out in real time. Hollywood figuring out that they might have gone a little bit too far. And we all know why they went woke. It's not like they're actually woke. Some might think they are in Hollywood. It's very easy to be a communist or a socialist in the comfort of your $6 million mansions. If I have ads running on the stream, that means the connection's bad. And so as you guys may or may not know, I apologize if ads run on the stream. That means there's a connection problem. I'm using a faulty computer right now. That's why it took me like 3 days extra to get my video out. My new computer will not be here until Friday. So I'm just trying to make things work. And hopefully it'll stay a little bit stronger as the stream goes on. Hopefully. We'll see. If not, then I'll have to just bail it out. Let me, for one, hang on. Let me make sure Junior is not gaming right now. There. Sorry, kid. He's probably gaming, and that's probably what the problem is. So we're going to continue on. I'm going to forge ahead as best as I can, and hope this will all be worked out by Friday Night Tights. That's the whole goal, is by Friday, when we have Chrissy Meyer on, I'll have a new machine, and everything should be just running great. I'm doing a full upgrade across the board. I think it's time. When I first started out doing this YouTube thing, I had a $75 microphone, or not camera, and I had a $150 USB microphone that I used forever. It was a white one. You guys saw it. I didn't upgrade until I hit 200,000, and I said, that was good enough. So as time goes on, I upgrade. I'm trying to be as cheap as possible right now because we're about to move. So, but I thought it was time to upgrade. If I'm going to get a new computer, I'll get a new mic. Everybody's got a Shure mic. Everybody and his mother's got a Shure mic. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get the one that's just as good. That's not a Shure mic. So that's what this one is. All right. So yeah, hopefully the stream stays up. Thanks for letting me know, Eric, that we got ads. I have no idea. That is not a planned thing. That is when things lose connection, we put up an ad. Real quick before we get started, a lot of you are not aware of Nerdrotic Live. Nerdrotic Live is one of my alternate channels. I have two. I have Nerdrotic Daily and Nerdrotic Live. Nerdrotic Daily is run with Perry Chan. He pretty much does all the editing, all the uploading. He makes all the thumbnails for that one. And he clips out, parts of our live stream. And yeah, of course, it was completely ripped off from Joe Rogan clips. Thought it was a good idea. Why can't I do that with a little flair and do it with somebody who's really, really fucking talented? And luckily, Perry Chan is on my team, and I'm fucking glad about that. But we also have Nerdrotic Live, is where all the live streams go when they're done. And that's where I do super chat square ups, and occasionally I'll throw up a video up there too, like a trailer reaction or something. But that's what it's there for. And it's also there for when I start doing my book clubs and stuff like that. That's what we're going to do it on. I'm going to be doing a Feast for Dragons book club in June on the 10th anniversary of the release of A Dance with Dragons, because I am confident George R. R. Martin will not finish Winds of Winter this year or next year or ever. So we're going to finish it for him. We're going to do this book club, and then we're going to all collectively come up with an ending on our own. And it's for the fans who have put in hours and hours of time reading the books, buying all those reprints, watching all the theory videos, and investing a bunch of time into his story that we loved. And obviously he doesn't respect his fans enough to prioritize his life and want to finish the work that he owes his fans. He owes his fans. It's funny that Neil Gaiman is in the news today, because Neil Gaiman penned the famous letter or blog or whatever, George R. R. Martin is not your bitch. And I agreed with him at the time. I did. Thinking that, hey, 5 or 6 years between books, that's reasonable. These are long books. 10 years, not reasonable. Especially when you're very publicly taking on other projects that you don't need to take on as a 72-year-old man. I'm 51, and I couldn't do all that stuff. Barely run a channel. So I don't know if this is maybe, what did I see? Hot tub. Yeah, maybe we'll do a hot tub Friday Night Tights. Maybe we'll do that someday. Maybe. All right. Let's see who's here. What do we got? We got Darius Munchausen, John Peters, Eric Kane, his ranch, Picard 714, just another red shirt, and his ranch, Chris Persia, the Canadian wrench or ranch, Jennifer Cisco. We got Geek Tropology. First step too far, except if it's the first step of the 12 steps of recovery. And then we have Lady Gravemaster here. D-Dog's awesome stuff. Liger fan. The Dead DC, like DC Comics, or Washington DC. I think both are probably applicable at this point. Hell chat. Look at you guys. You're so enthusiastic. Let's see. I'm going to have to stop it at this point. M Service, Jester of Roanoke, Yvonne Solomon, and Dex030. And then we'll let it run a little bit here. Look at that. John Thomas, thank you for the super chat. I'll get to that. The Invisible Man. I see you. I see you there. I see you there. I do. 322 Messenger, David Harvey, Brian Kim, Roger H, Bear, Nerd Fun. What's up, Bear, Nerd Fun? And Captain Cockney Spock. Captain Cockney Spock. Okay. So what have we learned over the last week? What have we learned? A lot. As I said in my Lord of the Rings on Prime video, by the way, you guys have, when I release a video, it usually inspires some emails, right? And for the vast majority of you are very positive. If you have criticism, you're very respectful. And I appreciate that. Thank you. Nobody has to agree with everything I say. That's not required here. And then, sometimes I get, you're a Yahtzee piece of shit. That's fine too. That doesn't bother me. That comes with the trade. but I got a lot of good feedback on this video. So thank you. A lot of people liked it. I'm glad you did. I spent about a week and a half on that one. Partially because, like I said, my computer will, while I'm editing, it'll just die in the middle of it. So it should have been out like 4 days ago. And that's why I'm planning on doing an Eternals kind of MCU video, but I think we can all talk about like everything collectively over the last week that has happened is just shown that Hollywood again is collectively a fucking simpleton. They and it's the corporatism that is bled into Hollywood. So where creative decisions are coming from bankers by committee, and we have these bankers attaching creatives to projects they don't belong on. I'll come out and say it. Some like Jack Schaefer on WandaVision. Jack Schaefer should not have been on WandaVision. She should have done her homework. Now, if she produced a good WandaVision and then publicly said, "Hey, I didn't know much about this, but I went when I got the job. It was about 6 months before we started. I bought a bunch of comic books. I asked my friends, what should I read? And I sat down and I read that stuff. And, I watched Avengers Earth Mightiest Heroes, which is a great cartoon, and I learned about the Avengers and I did a crash course in the Marvel Universe. That's fine. Nobody has to be lifelong fans to start this stuff. Nobody expects you to be. What the fans want is respect. And I was just briefly on Hot Toys with Az and Robert Meyer Burnett, two very good guys. See, again, in our circle, whatever this circle is, there's nothing you can define about it. There's no structure. There's no leadership. There's no masterminds. We have people like Robert Meyer Burnett, right? So politically, I disagree with him on some stuff. He disagrees with me on some stuff, but I would hang out with him because he's a cool dude. And that's what most of us are, right? Is the Robert Meyer Burnett's, where we might disagree on some stuff, but we could still hang out. We could still have coffee. We could still be friends. I want to read a really good tweet by Carrie Smith, who was on last week. That was a freaking great show. And you want to know how much of a pro Az is? Az was tethered on his phone, so everything was delayed anywhere between 10 seconds to 5 minutes. And he managed to stay on the whole show and be funny about it and make it work within the show. That is a YouTuber, folks. I retweeted this from Carrie Smith a couple days ago. She's she's what the world needs, right? So she is a former SJW. She broke away from the cult. So she understands it on a level none of us will, because she was there, right? And she put out a thread. I'm just going to read it to you. I don't have allies. I have friends. Some good friends, some old friends, some new friends. I also have acquaintances. I also have people I admire and respect. Heroes. SJWs don't have friends. They have allies. I didn't leave the cult of the SJW to be expected not to call a spade if they also criticize SJW ideology. Snakes are snakes. I'd rather talk to a sincere SJW than a lying, manipulative, abusive, narcissistic, sociopathic who is supposed to be an ally. That's bullshit. You're not on my side because you speak words I speak. I care more about how you behave. I personally care more about the mission. Whatever this mission is keeping your eye on the prize, going after Disney, going after Hollywood, where they need. Yeah, and we're talking about the tops. We're not even talking about like crew members or something like that. Certain actors, yes. Certain actors, no. For example, Brie Larson. Brie Larson was all the rage last year because of what she said at an award show. But she hasn't said anything like that since. So my biggest criticism of Brie Larson was always Captain Marvel, was her casting in Captain Marvel, the performance of Captain Marvel, and the movie Captain Marvel. Certainly, I did Brie Larson videos back in the day. I quit because the bigger problem to me was Captain Marvel. and what was baked into the script of Captain Marvel, which was intersectional feminism, which you could see they were going down this road. And now the MCU is on its way. You can't stop the train. There's no turning this thing around. They're going to have to play this thing out. And what is Disney going to do? What Disney always does, even if they know they're in the wrong, they know they have a piece of crap, which I think they know. I think they know, is they're going to defend it by whatever means necessary, which means discrediting fans, because Disney spent years doing that with Star Wars. So after years of doing that with Star Wars, what do we get today? We get JJ Abrams coming out and admitting that they didn't have a plan. Now, we knew this, okay? Daisy Ridley said this before, and this is all stuff we've known because we've been saying it for years, and they've been lying to us. Kathleen Kennedy has now been officially caught lying for like the 10th time. Yet she still has a job. But Disney's approach was to, through their very willing and able enablers in the access media, discredited fans. Ran with a narrative that these fans are part of the alt-right. To defend their film, they were calling people alt-right. By the way, the alt-right is the boogeyman for extreme leftists. And there's about, a few thousand of them. Even if there's 10,000 of them, that's not a problem. That's not the problem. The problem is giant corporations feeding into the divisiveness in this country, which led to literally bleeding on the streets, 47 people dead, billions of dollars of damage. They played their part. They most certainly played their part. They were fanning the flames of division. They were rooting that shit on. Actors were rooting that shit on to this fucking day. We have people rooting that shit on, including, the comic comrades out there. But now some in Hollywood, maybe with a brain, maybe not, I'm not sure, are starting to figure out that, we actually need all the money. We don't need, and the reason, again, reason corporations like Nike and Disney go woke is to wave a little flag or flashy light in front of you to distract from all of the atrocities that they're actually either enabling, thanking, or doing themselves. Nike, slave labor. I don't know how anybody could buy a Nike product. Disney, obviously, thanking the concentration camp unapologetically. So sowing the seeds of division in all of these fandoms, and we had simply people like myself, Robert Meyer Burnett, as Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, Jeremy from The Quartering, many others, going, hey, we're fans. We know each other. Some of us have been fans for decades. Some of us are new, but we understand this. And what you're doing is destroying the thing we love. And we'd like to keep giving you money because you own it and we have no fucking choice, or we're going to walk away. So now we're into the walk away part with a lot of people. Don't blame you at that point, who just want nothing to do with it. And you start hearing words like escapism being thrown around, which means they have acknowledged the problem. They can't do anything to change it for a while. And this is no promise that they're going to actually change anything, by the way. But they also invited in all of these types that I discussed in my Lord of the Rings video, which includes creatives, fake fans, imposters, geeks, fake geeks, sorry, posers. And for one, I've lived long enough to see that there are poser nerds, which is absurd on a lot of levels. Absolutely absurd. Because the whole term nerd, we're all nerd because we were outcasts. We were into stuff that people go, why are you so into this? Why do you love Star Wars so much? That is kid stuff. That's so weird. That's lame, blah, blah, blah. We had to listen to it forever. So let's let those people take over the shit we love. And that's exactly what we did. Some of us noticed it. sooner than others. Well, it's exactly what they did, by the way, not we. I misspoke there. Does that mean, to what Carrie said right there, does that mean all of us who are in a sphere speak from the same motivation? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't know about this whole side thing, right? My side, your side. It sounds very collectivist to me. That's why I try not to use words like community. I try not to use any SJW language. I've been hearing a lot of it lately, and not, well, from what I thought were SJWs. I've been hearing a lot of that language. And like I said earlier today, a poser will always out themselves. So let's hear JJ Jar Jar. And I right before I was going to start the live stream, my computer died, so I'm running this through Streamlabs. I was using OBS. Where is the audio? I'll just go to my audio here. There we go. There's our buddy. There's the destroyer of franchises. Let's hear what he's got to say. This epiphany that he had. I got to remember to put on the audio.
You plan things in a certain way, and you suddenly find yourself doing something that's 180 degrees different. And then sometimes it works really well, and you feel like, wow, that really came together. And other times you think, oh my God, I can't believe this is where we are. And sometimes when it's not working out, it's because it's what you planned. And other times when it's not working out, it's because it didn't. It's like you never really know. But having a plan, I have learned in some cases the hard way, is the most critical thing, because otherwise you don't know what you're setting up. You don't know what you're what to emphasize, because if you don't know the inevitable of the story, you're just as good as your last sequence or effect or joke or whatever, but you want to be leading to something inevitable.
Or destroyed franchise. Warner Brothers gave this guy $500 million. This guy made the biggest mistake in cinematic fucking history. Like, nobody will make as stupid of a mistake as this dumbass did. He didn't put Han, Luke, and Leia in a fucking scene together. And Warner Brothers gives him $500 million. It's a bunch of fucking idiots with too much money. Why are we bailing out idiots? Oh, we should have a fucking plan. Yeah, you should have a fucking plan with the biggest franchise in the world. I'm glad you've come to this epiphany now that you're about to go fuck up DC. And no, he doesn't have to direct shit to fuck anything up. He's going to produce Batman the Animated Series. What's this fucking genius do? He gets Bruce Timm to draw a fucking picture, makes him an EP, and goes, I'm just going to try to recreate perfection because I've done so fucking well with it in the past. I mean, oh yeah, Star Trek. Oh yeah, Star Wars. This guy's a hack. This guy's an absolute fucking hack. And don't be excited for the new Batman the Animated Series, because Bruce Timm isn't going to be that involved with it. He's just an executive producer, and they're missing a freaking giant name, Paul Dini. If Paul Dini isn't there, it's not Batman the Animated Series. What a fucking jackass. And people keep giving this guy money like he's done anything. Michael Bay is a better director than Jar Jar Abrams. And I know he's not the most popular guy in the world, and I think he's a douchebag, but Zack Snyder is a better director than Jar Jar Abrams. Zack Snyder has directed movies I like. Michael Bay has directed movies I like. Jar Jar Abrams was involved with, I'm trying to think of the one thing I like from him. A Mission Impossible movie that I cannot remember for the life of me. But I walked out of the theater liking it. I'll admit it. And Fringe, which he had a little bit to do with, but a lot of other people were involved too. But let's face it, Fringe didn't end great either. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. And Fringe borrowed heavily from a lot of other things because that's what he does. Repurposers. That is a term, by the way. I got to give it to Clownfish TV. Clownfish TV came up with that term. They also came up with the Yahtzee. Just to give proper credit where credit is due. So we were right. We were right. You were right. Everybody in the chat, you're right. Take your victory lap again. But you know what else we're going to be right about? The Eternals is going to be a fucking flop. A giant flop. Disney is going to drive every franchise into the ground. And everybody's like, oh my God, Disney's going to buy DC. Like, why would anybody be excited about that? Franchises cannot be successful being run by corporations. They're too big to succeed. The best we can hope for is some homogenous average stuff, kind of like The Mandalorian. I think The Mandalorian is about the best thing a corporation can produce, and it's only because of Jon Favreau. You have one strong, talented, creative voice. These things need to have a strong, singular, creative voice at top. They need to be like little dictatorships, benevolent ones or nasty ones, but that's the way the creative process works. Committee, you get fucking Star Trek Discovery, you get Doctor Who, and you're going to get Lord of the Rings on Prime. Lord of the Rings on fucking Prime. Oh, that one pisses me off too. God. So, Jar Jar, I mean, I appreciate his honesty now, but it's only because he's forced into it. His announcements to deflect haven't worked. The announcement of a black Superman has not gone as well as he thought it would. And all of these announcements over and over again of fucking Amber is going to fight the Predator. No one wants to see that. Absolutely, positively, no one wants to see that. Who in the fuck is that for? Let's get to some questions here. We got WG. Hang on, I got to see how my stream's holding up too. It's so distracting. The video echoed. Yeah, that's probably because the sound was coming through my stream, my sound deck. Eric. All right, so we've got questions that need to be answered. We have Vasidius for $99.99. Hail. Wanted to show you some support and contribute to the move. Got a note. I saw somebody wearing your shirt the other day at my nuke. What? At your nuke plant? At a nuclear plant? Somebody who works at a nuclear plant listens to me? I don't know if I feel... No, I'm just kidding. I was going to say, I don't know if I feel good about that. Got mine already. Cool. Seeing them in the world. That is brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. Yeah, my swag goes out via Mrs. Nerdrotic through Instagram. So if you want to learn or hear where to win it, you can follow me on Instagram, instagram.com/nerdrotic. Thank you very much, Cities. That is cool. At a nuke plant. Is it San Onofre, the nuclear tits? No, I don't think that's open. I don't think that one's open. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Will I Am Bo for 99 cents poop emoji. Oh shit, really? They just cast Craven? Thank you, Will I Am Bo. Thank you for the poop emoji. That must be going to Hollywood. Did they really just cast Craven the Hunter? Oh boy. Oh, in what? For the movie? Who? Somebody have to answer in the chat. Yeah, somebody just super chat. Nerdy Girl Create says they just cast Craven for $3.99, but who is it? Who is it? Gonzalo Bergali for 75 Uruguayan pesos says, as tethering is better than the connection in your old computer, Gary. Is the connection bad? If it's bad, let me know. Here, Eric, tell me how the connection is. Yeah, I'll do the best I can, folks, and I'll go as long as I can. I do have videos to create for the next 2 days and super chat scorps to do. I'm doing a little bit every day. We got Mikey Gusler for $50. When people reviewed The Rise of Skywalker on YouTube, they would always say Chris Terrio was the only writer for the film, but it was written by JJ too. Never understood why they left that out. Oh, and saying he was in a tough place, so it's not his fault. Well, yeah. Jar Jar has been the Teflon man. He avoids responsibility all the time. Thank you, Eric. Yeah, he always avoids responsibility. This is why he's been able to get on with his con for this long. It's a corporate fucking pyramid scheme. What he does is create something new, starts it, moves on to something new before that thing comes out. And he usually usurps a giant property, say for Disney Star Wars. Force Awakens wasn't a good movie. Everybody went to The Force Awakens and was under a thing called hypnosis. It was Star Wars. It was Han Solo. It was Princess Leia. It was Luke Skywalker, but they weren't together. They weren't together, and they killed Han Solo. It was a bad movie made by creatively bankrupt people. Disney bought Star Wars and rushed into a plan instead of buying Star Wars and waiting, I would say, five years. Spend 5 years planning out your franchise, and you find the right people. And Disney could have found whoever they wanted to work on it. But instead, they rushed through, and that's all a reflection of the leadership at Lucasfilm. Current year is 2021, meaning next year is 2022, which means Disney will have owned Star Wars for 10 years. And they still haven't figured it out. What's the latest thing? I'm not going to watch it. I don't give a shit about freaking animated Star Wars. The Bad Batch. I know some people are enjoying it, but all I hear is Omega is the girl who's the key to everything. Are you fucking kidding me with that? Really? That's what you're going to, the girl who's the key to everything. Okay. I'm glad I'm missing it. The reason I'm here, right, is I love talking about nerd stuff, and right now it's in a bad way. It's in a bad way, and the only way things change is if you speak up. If you speak up. Now, I don't speak up about everything, right? Because I'm not in everything. I'm not in everything. So, like when I see the Powerpuff Girls thing and that script, it was unbelievable. If you guys didn't hear, so it got leaked online, but the Powerpuff Girls script had the Powerpuff Girls being in lesbian relationships, and it just sounded so CW. And this is the Powerpuff Girls. And everybody hated it. And they were embarrassed it got out. I'm not going to make a video on it because, like, sure, I saw the Powerpuff Girls out of the corner of my eye when Melissa was watching it or whatever. But when it came out, it wasn't part of my childhood. I was in my 30s when that came out. So, yeah, I wasn't watching it much. But it sounded horrible. It sounded absolutely horrible. And it sounded in line with everything they're doing right now. This has been a bad week for Hollywood. And you're seeing people, you're seeing the same shit. They announce casting. People criticize it. They go, hey, that thing that I loved, that I helped make really valuable, that made you want to remake it. And now you're buying it and you're fundamentally changing it right down to its core. I don't like that, Nazi. You're obviously a bigot. That ain't working no more. It's just not working anymore. And now that they went to that one, what do you go to next after that? I mean, you would hope a real argument, like, okay, state your case. But no, you can't go anywhere after that. You can't. WG for $100. Holy crap. Hail, Gary. Just heard KK will resign tomorrow. Wait, being told I heard wrong. She's going to re-sign tomorrow. Anyway, keep up the great work and please get X-Ray Girl here. Tim Hortons Coffee and Donut Fix. She's Canadian and government subsidies only will go so far there. Well, I mean, X-Ray Girl is with Mark the Cyborg, so they're power couple right there. That's like an internet power couple. Yeah, I think they need to get out of Canada for their own safety. I do. WG, by the way, hail X-Ray Girl, and she started a live stream, and she's going to be covering, I think, Big Brother and some of that reality stuff with Tugs, not that umbrella guy, the other Tugs, and I think it's a great idea because that stuff is cringe and fun to make fun of. And I know a lot of people are into it. So I think I forgot what the name of it is, but I'm going to properly plug it on Friday Night Tights. So I'm very, very proud of her. She's doing great. She's doing great. She's really cool and very professional. And that's what I like because I'm not professional. So I need somebody professional around. WG, you're awesome. Thank you very much. Kathleen, this just in, ladies and gentlemen. In my earpiece, my fake earpiece, Kathleen Kennedy is still the head of Lucasfilm. Still the head of Lucasfilm. I have no idea why she still has a job. I do believe she was probably pretty close to getting fired before The Mandalorian came out. Now, that's just my belief. I don't have insiders. I don't do scoops. Nobody emails me about shit when it comes to that, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful for it. I would rather talk. I mean, if people want to do the rumor thing, like I said, do what you want on your channel, and if it works for you, that's all my concern. Happy for you. I'll deal with what we know, and what we know right now is Star Wars sucks, and Kathleen Kennedy is still in charge. Why is she still in charge? Because The Mandalorian saved her job. And because Hollywood is a bottom line town. So as much as we criticize and yours truly, a JJ Abrams, a Kathleen Kennedy, what the bankers are looking at is, and they're the kind of people who say at the end of the day a lot. So at the end of the day, the thing made billions of dollars. It made billions of dollars. Now there's other bean counters who are much smarter and probably much further high up. And maybe this is Bob Chapek. I don't think so. I think the guy's just a big dumbass, but and the weatherman is a dumbass, But they have to know that we made billions of dollars, but we left easily $2 billion on the table with The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. Rise of Skywalker, I believe, will come out as one of the most expensive movies ever made, if you include the marketing. My guesstimate is easily $600 million it cost to make that movie. I think it barely made money. And if it made money, we're talking like $5 or 5 Canadian pesos. So they know they left billions at the table, and they also know now that if you have split fandoms, because I do believe Hollywood for a long time thought, oh, the fans are arguing, they're talking about our stuff, that's all we need, that's good. I think there was a line of thought in Hollywood saying discourse is good. But now they're finding out, no, this is a deep division. This isn't we're arguing over fucking Picard or Kirk. We're arguing over like real world politics, and it's getting very ugly. And the fandoms have devolved into this just, fucking Thunderdome. That's what they've devolved into, right? And you have one side saying largely, not everybody, we want the divisiveness and the politics, the divisive, like elitist bullshit politics, extreme leftism out. We're not asking you to put any more in. We're not asking you to put like libertarian themes in whatever. We're just talking specifically about like Star Wars and Doctor Who and Star Wars or Star Trek. If you want to make your own original shit, that's not what we're talking about. And then we have the people who say it's not political, and then it's always been political, and then you're a Nazi. Hard to have a real conversation with somebody about that. But thankfully, because common sense always rises to the top. Sometimes it takes a lot of time, and we've spent a year collectively with our government and Hollywood ignoring common sense and openly trying to fight against it. Now they're being proven wrong pretty much every fucking day at this point, and we are being proven right. Jar Jar coming out and doing this is a win. It's an absolute fucking win. He didn't say anything new. We knew this all the time, but it's a win. I was having a conversation with somebody today about Doctor Who, another podcaster. And I told this podcaster with something like Doctor Who and Star Wars, this goes for Star Wars, this goes for Marvel. There was a time where they could turn stuff around and not acknowledge what has gone on in the fandom. We are now past that time. Now, if Disney Star Wars wants to turn stuff around and Marvel Comics specifically, there has to be an acknowledgement. If you want to get, for one, you're not going to get everybody back now, no matter what. Even if you come out and get on your knees and beg, you're not going to get everybody back. If you want to get the numbers back that can help support your franchise, you're going to have to acknowledge it now. You can't ignore it now. Now, does this mean they'll ever do it? No, they'll never do it. But I'm telling them what needs to be done, because the vast majority of people are just moving on now. So if we have new leadership, say Kathleen Kennedy gets booted tomorrow, and Pablo Hidalgo and the Story Group and Star Wars comes out and says, we want to start anew. In that we want to start anew has to be an acknowledgement of, we understand that we have played our part in dividing a fan base for the greatest franchise of all time, and we want to make up for that. We want to go out and make the best Star Wars we can, because we're about escapism, we're about fun, we're about bringing people together. They need to say something like that. Statement has to be made, or not. I mean, I personally don't care. Now, if they got rid of those people, I mean, there's so many ifs. I think there's like 8 ifs have to happen, maybe 6 have to happen before I would even look at Star Wars again. Gina Carano back, Jon Favreau completely in charge, or somebody else. There's a lot of names that have been around Lucasfilm for a long time that maybe could be put in charge and it would be better off. Our good friend Ryan points that out all the time. And it's not George Lucas. It's not George. George is 77 and has a young child. They would have to apologize to fans. They'd have to erase the fucking Disney trilogy. Like, there's too many ifs. It wouldn't fucking happen. But that's what it would require for me to even give a shit anymore. Guess Zack Snyder's new nickname is As Kiss Snyder. What a disappointment. Super Nate for $5. Well, I mean, Zack Snyder's always been, he's a Hollywood type. He's fucking Hollywood through and through. So to come out and have to say, like, I vote Democrat. Did he really come out and say that? Yeah. Zack Snyder is, I guess, a disappointment to a lot of people. I've always heard he was a good guy, but I didn't know him. But through his, you know what? Judge people by their actions, not by their words. You know, how they behave out there. And that goes for everyone. That goes for Hollywood, and that goes for YouTubers and content creators. A lot of, you know, like, we talk for a living, but yeah, a lot of shit can fly out of our pie hole, but check the behavior. Consistency. You know? Consistency. Man of War 665, neighbor of the beast. He says that mic looks Soviet issue. That's right. All of my, you know, my Russian botting, Putin fucking sent me a microphone. You caught me. No, the Man of War 665, neighbor of the beast. I'll reset it. The reason I got this instead of a Shure mic is because everybody has a Shure mic, and I'm going to be honest with you. I was just doing it to not get a Shure mic. I'm like, what's the one that's just as good that's not a Shure mic? T Stoney, did you catch the pronouns on Sandman casting announcement? Well, T Stoney, thank you for the $5. That's what we're going to talk about next. And New Orleans, thank you for the $1.50 donation. Yes, let's take a look at that Sandman casting. Now, I talked a little bit about it with Robert Meyer Burnett, and I want to set the stage for Sandman and where I come from with Sandman. Did I not? I thought I tweeted it. Boop, there it is right there. All right. I am not the biggest Sandman fan. I respect the work. I sold a lot of Sandman trades. I read it. I read it once. I like characters in it. I like moments in it. I love some of the art. Sam Keith is fucking amazing. I love the covers. I don't dislike Neil Gaiman's work. I'm not the biggest fan. And I liked books. He did a Books of Magic miniseries with Tim Hunter in the early 90s. I love that. I think that's great. And I like the Doctor's Wife is an all-time great Doctor Who episode. I freaking love that episode so much. So yeah, I think he's a very talented guy. I did like mostly American Gods season 1. There's like certain things I've liked from him, but I'm much more of a Garth Ennis, Mark Millar, Alan Moore kind of guy. What's the nicest way to put it? I think Sandman's a little girly. That's just me. All right. That's the way I've always seen it. So it's not something I'm super into, but big fan of John Constantine. Now, it's not the casting. For one, the casting of Death. Nobody's gonna criticize this. I will. Death was a very popular character, and I think one of the main reasons people read Sandman. And Death is a goth girl, a legit goth girl from the 80s. Maybe Kirby Howell Baptiste can pull it off. Not really sure. But it's not really what here. Let's go. Let me share it. Can you see this? Let's do this. When I saw this is the first thing I thought, and I put it up on the tweet. New Netflix adaptation meme. So yes, the biggest thing is their pronouns are in there. And this is now a lot of the casting for Sandman was announced months ago, right? And like I said months ago, I would have really liked to have seen a Sandman adaptation on Netflix or Amazon if it was produced 5 years ago before all this identity politics shit. But the first thing I forget the diverse casting, or whatever. Leading with pronouns tells me that identity politics were the first thing you thought of when it comes to this series. And as I talked about this a little bit with Robert Meyer Burnett and on the Hot Toys live stream, and he correctly pointed out that Sandman was already a groundbreaking series fucking 20 years ago. So what you're doing is you're not breaking ground. You're breaking your fucking franchise before it even fucking starts. This pronoun thing, you want to know how most people see this pronoun thing? By the way, if you're curious, if you're one of the, 0.04% of the people in the actual world who uses them unironically, they're used to weaponize language. I sold comic books in San Francisco for 10 years. On top of that, my wife owns a hair salon in San Francisco for 15 years. I went to hair shows. I hung out with people in the hair scene. I hung out with people in the comic scene. And I have never once come across a single issue with how you address someone. And that includes the 2 transgender people I met in those 10 years in San Francisco while going to hair shows. The kind of places you would expect to meet people like that. And in comics. Not fucking once. You learn somebody's name, you address them. This has only been used to weaponize language, so you can go on Twitter and you can have some fake sense of superiority, moral superiority. And this all is insecurity. So I don't feel good about my life. I am living a life without meaning. My life is hollow. Instead of me trying to work on myself, look at the mirror, use my I statements. No, I'm going to use pronouns, and I'm going to go out and do my activism on Twitter. And that will make me feel like a hero. So now we have Hollywood and Netflix putting pronouns on a casting announcement. Oh, and this is first of many. First of many. And again, this isn't a property you needed to do this with. And here are the responses. There's Josiah, young Josiah. By the way, Josiah Rises. Go check out his channel. YouTube demonetized him. He hasn't, he took care of the questionable videos and he has reapplied, and I believe they have ghosted him, but you can support him in other ways. So please check it out because Josiah is a good guy. Lord of the Rings fan too. I agree, Data Racer. And certainly some people agree with it, but my God. What a way to take attention off your series, like right off the bat. So it's not going to be finally, we're going to get an adaptation of Sandman. There are people out there, I think Problem being mentioned it, out there. I've been waiting, 20 years for this, 25 years for this. It's now a Sandman casting announcement, inserts pronouns. How stunning, how brave, how boring. And now it's like, I can skip this. I can skip this. And with Patton Oswalt being in it, I can really fucking skip it. It's like, I do own the comics. I could just read the comics again. The radio, the audio drama they did, it's good. It's a little bit overproduced, but it's good. You could just listen to that. You don't need to see this. And it's going to probably be a fart in the wind anyway, because they're going to release it all at once because the binge model is dead. And it's not going to be water cooler television, and it's not going to be event television, because you can't have event water cooler television when you drop everything all at once. Another thing that just on a side note, there's a lot of side notes in my live streams. Another thing the streaming services need to do is figure out that, maybe we should release shit not in the middle of the fucking night. Maybe we should release stuff at the same time. Like in the United States, I don't know, release something at 5:30 p.m. or 6 p.m. You want to be Game of Thrones? Game of Thrones started at 6 p.m. Sunday, when it was out every week. 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Everybody's watching it at the same time in the U.S. It ends at the same time forever. I can't believe I got to say this shit out loud, but I do. And then people start talking about it. They call their friend. They go on Twitter. They go on Facebook. People jump on YouTube and make videos all at the same time. It creates hype. Hype you couldn't pay for. Again, I don't understand why Hollywood hasn't figured this out. It's stupid. It's stupid as pronouns are. If you really need pronouns in your life, fine. I don't care. I don't really care. But as I said in my rant in my Star Trek Discovery Season 3 video, I've been using my pronouns for as long as I've been talking. So almost 50 years, 40-something years. I'm going to stick with them. Thanks. They've been working out just fine for me. If you want me to refer you a specific way, tell me your fucking name. Or not. I care not. I care not. Daniel for $50. Thank you. He says, are you okay with that, Daniel? Did I get your pronouns right? He, him says, longs to the aftermath. Saruman, what is this? Sarumanaran, the love child of Sarun and Saruman, Sarumanaran, comes to power. Only Shilbo, the daughter of Bilbo, can stop him. Was Bilbo the one who fell in the volcano? I'm unsure because I never watched the movie. I'm a huge LOTROR fan. Like, oh my God. It's time. We have female hobbits. They actually existed. What? Mitch Thibault for 5 Canadian pesos. The Neil Gaiman run of Sandman was epic. The audiobook version on Audible is one of the best I've ever heard. This woke tripe, though, hard pass. Yeah. There are people, I mean, like Sandman is one of the greatest comic book series ever written. I will absolutely acknowledge that. It is in the top 5 of comic book series ever written. It ended very well, which is very hard to do. Personally, like I am, like I said, I am much more of a Preacher fan than I am a Sandman fan. But I'll acknowledge that Sandman was more popular. Sandman got a lot more people into comic shops than any other book I can think of. It brought a lot of new people in. A lot of women read Sandman. Absolutely acknowledge all of that. It helped start Vertigo. You know, we had Alan Moore Swamp Thing, right? And Alan Moore basically started Vertigo. Everything he did started Vertigo. Then Neil Gaiman had a lot to do with that. Vertigo was great for a long time. Vertigo was great. We got the Transmetropolitan. It brought in all the freaking just great British writers. It brought in a new style of art that eventually went into the superhero comics, and it really worked in some cases. So I acknowledge the greatness of Sandman. It's just not my favorite story. It's just not. But I would have definitely supported and been interested in seeing a true, faithful adaptation of it. But when you have the creative out there going, no, I'm totally cool with this. It's like, you know. I also saw J.K. Rowling, you know, retconning the hell out of her story. And, you know, like, again, Tolkien did it right. Tolkien wrote 2 stories within a world that he never finished. By the way, J.K. Rowling, where's the Harry Potter encyclopedia? I think we're still waiting for that, right? Why don't you put that out? There's a lot of fans who are out. You know, like, I listen, I admit it. I'm a Harry Potter fan. I like the books. I do. The fandom, I think, started out pretty normal. But then as social media dragged on and then we started seeing more of it, I was like, you know, I'll be a fan of the books, but I'm not going to be a part of the fandom. I'm just not going to be a part of this. I'm not really into all the fanfic and stuff. I'm like, no, I'm okay with that. I'll just not follow J.K. Rowling and not follow any fans or anything, and just, you know, I'll like the books in my own time. I'm good. Quite frankly, I felt like that with the Serenity fandom, the Firefly fandom, for the most part too. The brown coats. Melissa and I went to a brown coats meeting, and listen, more power to them. If you want to be fans of something, you want to join, start little groups, all more power to you. I'm just not going to be part of all of them. We went to a brown coats meeting, thinking it would be fun. And no, we're like, we're good. We like the show. Death is based on a real person. Yes, she is. Cinnamon Hadley, who died in 2018. This is really disrespectful to erase her from the adaptation. Yes, it is. How did she die again? I can't remember. May she rest in peace. Thank you, Henry Dorset, for £5. Ms. Zeet Wizard for $20. I have a Sandman related tattoo on my arm. The new woke news makes me want to cut it off my arm. Don't. You still have the source material. Remember, this is just a fart in the wind. It will be forgotten. What will be remembered is the source material forever. And listen, I felt that way. Trust me. There was a date in 2017. I was like, fuck. And fuck. But I'm like, no. Everything up to that point, I love. I absolutely love. Now it's Doctor Who, just in case you don't know. I love that they did this. That the Doctor's name is written in the language of Gallifrey, which is all based on clocks. I think that's fucking cool as hell. I do. Yeah, Sandman fans, I'm sorry. I am, because I know you're a passionate bunch. There are some great versions of it. I love those big, they're not called, like, is it omnibus? They have these big oversized versions of reprinted versions. Those things are great. I have those. I do have those. But I prefer comics. I prefer the comics. And I sold a shitload of Sandman trades during my 10 years in San Francisco. But that's fucking ridiculous. Vacant contentment for £5 says, I love you, man. I love you too. I love you too. Edgy number 1 for $2 says, I miss real Star Trek. I do too. But you know what? You learn to move on. I'm not going to discuss sports ball, but I used to be really into sports ball. There was a team I liked, and it was in San Diego because I grew up in San Diego. Then that team left, and I quit. I'm done. And it's been very easy. And now my Sundays are free. I have more money. I have more time. I don't have to work, schedule my life around the games. It's easy to disconnect yourself from stuff. And that's what Hollywood is going to have a very hard time with. They were going full on into the streaming services. They're like, this is going to be it. This is our future. Then the coup happened. And instead of, really supporting things like unity at a time of great stress in this country, these giant corporations, which just so happen to own a lot of news networks, divided a lot of us. So now they're going full on into woke, and they're regretting it. They're quietly starting to regret it. And it's just a sad thing. But what you just had was a year of people getting out of the habit of going to the movies, getting out of the habit of going to the comic shop every week, getting out of the habit of watching appointment television, getting out of the habit of watching anything from Hollywood. Like, there's no movies. There's no real new TV shows. There's not enough. Well, now I need to do something. Oh shit, I'm going to go outside. I'm going to read some older books. I'm going to do other things. I'm going to pick up a hobby. You know what the number one hobby was over the year? Podcasts. People were starting podcasts. I remember when the coup started, I went to go buy a Shure mic. I'm like, I want a Shure mic. They were on back order for weeks. So people started up, we started talking to each other. We started entertaining each other. And now, I'll speak for myself, I watch much more YouTube than I watch anything else. I do have to try new things. I am watching Invincible, and I am enjoying it for the most part for what it is, even though it's got a very tired trope in it. I'm enjoying it. I watched Jupiter's Legacy. I thought it was very meh. I'm watching Babylon 5, which I'm fucking loving. And I put it off forever, but I finally sitting down and watching it, and I'm loving it. So yeah, but when I get up in the morning, I have a little cup of Joe, and I see if any of my friends made videos over the night. Usually Ryan or Jeremy will drop one at night, or somebody will make one early in the morning who wakes up before I do, like Yellow Flash or something, and I'll watch a video. And if somebody's live streaming, I'll watch that while I'm prepping my day, right? I'm always watching videos. I'm always watching live streams because, for one, it's good to hear what you guys are saying. I want to hear like real feedback. I don't really get involved in your live streams because I just want to listen, right? But I'm there. So if you're an up-and-coming channel, I'm the guy hitting the like button within the first 5 minutes of your video. That's me. I'm watching. I watch them all the way through. I just mentioned to I watch all the quartering videos. I watch it now. Yes, sometimes I double up the speed, but I watch them. I support people I like, and that's the best way to support them. But it's also, that's how I get informed. Sure, it's just a bunch of people in their rooms like I am, but you get a good sense of thing when you hear of things when you hear from enough people. And yes, I go check out channels that I wouldn't normally subscribe to hear that side too. It's very good. And sometimes, you get some entertaining stuff, even from the people I wouldn't normally, it's only a couple channels I subscribe to just to kind of keep an eye on things. But for the most part, if I don't like For example, no, I don't want to call out this channel. There's a channel I used to listen to quite a bit, and I don't anymore because it just became, well, shill. It became very shill. But I do like things like Emergency Awesome. I watch that all the time too. Glorious beard as always, Gary. It's no surprise that kids who shilled for A's grew up a bunch of C's. It's too late for mea culpa. F. Kathleen Kennedy. Says Merlin's ID for $5. Yeah, that's the question I would ask. I know there's a lot of rumors out there, but if Kathleen Kennedy gets fired tomorrow, Pablo Hidalgo gets fired tomorrow, I mean, what's it? I guess, sure, if you want to try something, you got nothing better to do. But Han, Luke, and Leia aren't getting back together anytime soon. So what are you going to get? They're going to remake the original trilogy. I promise you that happens. Now, I think that they'll remake it for a series, not in the theaters, because I don't think the theaters are the future anymore. They went and killed it. And why did they kill it? Well, Hollywood supported a lot of the restrictive measures, and now that's biting them in the ass. There was a lot of people in Hollywood supporting destruction and supporting restriction. They were very, very compliant conformists. The rebels, the free thinkers, are all little cogs in the machine now. And you know who the rebels and the free thinkers and the heretics are? We are. God bless the heretics. The great Graham Hancock brought this up on Joe Rogan in one of his brilliant interviews. The world needs heretics. There are the people who were called crazy, conspiracy theorists, Yahtzees, hyperbolic. But sometimes they're prophetic. Sometimes there is, sometimes you can see through bullshit. Some people are better at it than others. Some people are too busy to really see it going on. So I know it's not a surprise at all that a bunch of fans who have been fans for decades smelled the bullshit really early, called it out, went against the grain for a long, long time. And now JJ Abrams just proves us right. Something we already knew. So what's going to change? Well, whatever change we see, it's not going to be 2 years until you see it, especially with something like a film. Maybe it'll be earlier in television, something you can produce a little bit faster. But maybe you're going to start seeing things like Venom 2 be successful because they're just fucking movies. They're not gonna win awards. They're not gonna break any ground. And that's not what anybody's looking for right now. People just want to have a good time. Jennifer Salk acknowledged that in her Power Woman interview in the Hollywood Reporter. She acknowledged it. She said, yes, we're making some really serious material, but what we heard of late is we all really had a rough year and we just want to party. And she's all, it was no surprise. Oh, really? If it was no surprise, then why weren't you ready for this? A month into the coof, you should have been all shit. We need to make something to make these people feel happy. We need to put smiles on faces. They all knew. Jennifer Salk, Bob Iger, they fucking knew. Why do you think Bob Iger quit? He knew the coof was going to last a year, if not longer. They fucking knew. Don't tell me they didn't know. Casey Osowski for $5. What's up, my friend? The problem with Star Wars is that Disney doesn't care about it. True. And they more than likely never will. They never will. They never will. George cared about Star Wars. It's his baby. It's his kids. And he sold them. And he fucking sold them almost 10 years ago. and he can't save them. You could bring George Lucas back tomorrow. He's 77. He lives in Chicago. He's got a very young daughter. And I would argue that, sure, he could come back. I could see it like he's like a couple of years into raising a little kid and maybe he's bored. That'd make him a dick, but that happens all the time. Happens all the time. But no, I thought he was going to focus on raising his daughter. For one, unsolicited advice for us dudes out there. Don't have little kids when you're fucking 68. Aside from that being immensely selfish, like absolutely immensely selfish, it's irresponsible because you're not living forever. So if you have a kid when you're 68, a kid's going to graduate college when you're what? 90? In a diaper? I think Warren Beatty did that too. I mean, I guess being immensely rich, sure, they're set for life, but like, I don't know. Maybe they'd rather have dad around. That's just me. Maybe I'm just old fashioned. Aurora uplinks for $5. Maybe Gina's clause is Lucas returns because he has a good reputation of treating his actors and staff well. Yeah, nobody's ever complained about George. I guess working directly with him can be a pain in the ass. But this isn't the George from the 70s, folks. Star Wars, okay. The great Star Wars, the truly universally, objectively great Star Wars, which is Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back, was only this much George Lucas. George Lucas directed the first one, of course, but Gary Kurtz was there, and he had very strong voices calling him out and keeping him from making bad decisions. Gary Kurtz left, and that's why Return of the Jedi is a subpar original trilogy film, which is still better than most films, and a film I watched, I think, 15 times in the theater that summer, that I love immensely, and I think half of it is absolute genius. And the other half is fucking puppets, bad effects, and little teddy bears. And that's because Gary Kurtz left. Period. End of story. Gary Kurtz is there. Those are Wookiees. But that's an old and done argument. I still love the movie, by the way. And Carrie Fisher hated Richard Marquand for some reason. And we could side with Carrie Fisher, but maybe Richard Marquand was like, hey, Carrie, could you do a little less coke? We don't know what happened. We know Carrie was a bit of a problem herself. May she rest in peace. Gabe Gowell, thank you. Welcome to the Gelogia membership. Welcome. Vasidius. Bit delayed because I'm listening at work, but to answer your question, you got fans at the plant by Augusta, Georgia. Oh, fuck. Hail everyone at the nuke plant near Augusta, Georgia. Thank you for keeping America powered, and be safe out there. We don't all think you're a bunch of Homer Simpsons at the plant. We think you're very smart people. My cousin was a nuclear tech on a submarine in the 80s. Yes, cousin Philip. Sean McD for $20. I know I just sent a super chat, but I have to go, and I would love to hear, and I don't mean to be pushy, but I have to leave soon, and hopefully can you get my super chatting? Yes. Thank you for the $20, Sean. Was there one earlier? Did I read that one already? I'll do it right now. Hang on, buddy. And you can like hit up one of my mods. I mean, thank you for the $20, but if you need something read before you leave, just hit up Eric, and I've got Eric right in front of me here. He can oh, thanks, Eric. So who's Aaron Taylor Johnson? Who's Aaron Taylor Johnson? Daniel. There it is, Sean McD. Love you, Gary. I tune in every time you have a live stream. I was wondering, though, is there any possibility we will see you on EFAP anytime soon? And if not, what are the reasons? Hail Gary and Friday Night Tights. Well, EFAP is Mahler's thing, and I've been on there a lot. Aaron Taylor Johnson to play Spider-Man villain Kraven the Hunter in Solo movie. Oh, that's gonna be terrible. It's gonna be fucking terrible. Who wants to see a Kraven movie? Oh my God, Sony. Oh my God. We'll get to that in just a moment. Thank you, Eric. Okay. Mahler, I would consider Mahler a friend, internet friend, but Mahler's a good guy. We chat once in a while. I respect the hell out of him and Rags. Love those guys. And they've had me on. I was on right after WandaVision. That was the last time I was on. And that was a great one, by the way. But yeah, I think Mahler does a very good job rotating channels out. And if something comes up that's like in kind of my wheelhouse, he tends to reach out. So no, I don't feel pushed off about it at all. No. And we just had Mahler and Rags on Friday Night Tights like 2 months ago, and we will definitely have them on again. Now, I love EFAP, but it's also 6 to 8 hours on my Saturday. I gotta. That's a little tough sometimes. Gary, please tell me you saw last night's Superman and Lois episode. That freaking reveal was actually surprising, and I'm so looking forward to how they handled this particular thing. Super Nate for $10. I have not seen it, but you have my promise, my absolute promise. I will be doing a review of the season because I love it. I'm actually 2 episodes behind. So I need to get, but I'm digging it. And this might be the last live action proper Superman we ever get. Think about that. In my lifetime anyway, which is probably going to only be 19, 20 more years. Hopefully longer than that, but been a little rough on the body. So Super Nate, I'm at least we have Superman and Lois for now until it goes woke. And it could. For everybody who's going to say it's on CW and it could be woke, you're right. Not going to argue with you. I'm probably setting myself up for disappointment, but it doesn't mean you don't try stuff once in a while. Michael Henley for $5. I could destroy the DCU for the amount of this super chat. Yes, you could. But the DCEU destroyed itself for millions of dollars. And it destroyed itself because Warner Brothers is dumb. They're knee jerk. And they didn't stick to the plan. If they would have stuck to the plan, I think it would have been successful. I don't necessarily like, for one, Batman was going to die. So I don't like that decision. I don't like Robin already being dead. I would like to see Batman. I want to see a legit Batman and Robin. And no, not the Batman and Robin movie. No. Batman Forever. I don't take that movie seriously. I don't. I want to see a proper Batman and Robin on screen together, taken seriously. That's grounded. Not that fucking Marvel humor. A good, gritty, rated R Batman movie or TV series. That would be much better. But not, imagine it made in like 2007. Stephen Lawton for $2. The cynical term for what we need, for what he said is word salad. Yes. We're talking about Jar Jar Abrams. For one, you notice he kept on saying you and we. No, Jar Jar, it's I. Use your I statements, bruh. You didn't have a plan. You decided to go ahead without a plan because that's how you do everything. And now people are actually starting to hold your feet to the fire. And I could not be happier. And I very proud of myself if I turned on a couple of people to your charade. Then job well done. Waking people up to the bullshit you have been fucking pulling. I mean, because a lot of people were defending him. But now everybody sees him for the charlatan that he is. Rupert Patterson for £14.99 says Midnight's Edge did a stream this AM with Cameron Pasha was saying, and Cameron Pasha was saying that the article in the Hollywood Reporter, Hollywood's relationship to China marks a course correction towards Hollywood going unwoke. Thoughts? Well, yeah, okay, that's interesting. And Rupert, I don't know if you saw the Friday Night Tights crew. We covered it Friday pretty extensively. So if you go over to Nerdrotic Live, you can see it. We covered it with Carrie Smith, which was fucking like the perfect guest for that article. And that article popped up Friday morning. It's long. We got about a quarter of the way through it. But essentially, China doesn't like the woke stuff. China was the reason we were getting movies like Venom. So I don't know if I don't entirely agree with that at all. The woke is for America. The woke is for America. China doesn't like the woke shit. They don't like the intersectional feminist shit. They hate Star Wars. They can't stand it. But if you think about it, look at the movies that do well in China. Now, like Ragnarok did well. Ryan Cannell pointed that out. But, movies like Venom and shit do well too. Because it's just, they want to see the same shit we do for the most part. Okay. Just have a little fun. Right? They need escapism too. A lot more than we do, to be honest with you, considering their government. But as far as the woke stuff, no, they're not down with they're not down with the woke stuff. I think where I'll agree with Cameron is it's a sign of change. You're damn right it's a sign of change. You don't think Marvel's going to have to change their direction if the Eternals gets banned in China and it was practically made for China? And the same thing with Shang-Chi. Oh, yeah, they're going to have to change their fucking plans, whether they like it or not. Whether they like it or not. And so I think, Cameron Pasha, like he works in the industry. So I'm seeing things just specifically from a fan, former comic retailer perspective. Like I'm not a creative, so I can't speak to it from that perspective at all. But as somebody who follows trends, the woke trend is coming to an end. And the reason I talked about it earlier, the reason Hollywood bit so hard into it because it makes them just look like good people. They really love to tell you how good they are. That's all this is about. This is about, stroking the shaft of their own ego. And it got out of control. Because largely, Hollywood producers, we're not talking about great people here. We're not talking about great people here. And it's also, like I said earlier, a distraction. The woke was a distraction for their work with China. If that's what Cameron Pasha meant, then yes. They threw all that woke at us so you don't see them filming next to concentration camps. I wonder how Disney thought they were going to get away with that. Maybe they just thought Americans are dumb. They're not going to try to translate something or what. Yeah, the audience isn't dumb. It's whether they care enough about it to say something. But I think where I will agree again with them is I think things are changing. I don't think they're going to change that fast, but I think things are changing. I could be wrong, though. I could be wrong. Ludger, long last name, for $10. My advice on hot toys about moving is very selfish. I just want you to move closer to where I am so I can visit your comic shop. Y'all having conversations like we used to. It's exactly what we need. Don't worry about it. You're right. Ludger, long last name. Everything I purchase now, I have to move. This is a temporary office. I can't wait to get in something permanent. I have something in my mind's eye, right, of the permanent studio that's going to be fun. And there's a very big item coming that I'll just surprise you guys. There always will be a moon over Marin, says John Peters for $2. You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? Nuclear now, solar later for $5. JJ is covering his ass, CYAing. Yes, he is. So nuclear power now, solar power later. Yeah. I don't know. Nuclear power is I'm no hippie. So what did Mark Ruffalo say? Gas is over now. It's like, does anybody know how power plants run? Anyone? We can get rid of all the cars tomorrow. But yeah, we're not going to have like electrical container ships anytime soon. Or electrical planes. We could go back to the steam engine. That was always good. Not really. Yeah. We have cars that can go like 250, 300 miles a clip, and they're pretty good. And Tesla is a good car for the most part. And yeah, I do have 150 down on that truck. And yes, it's ugly, and that's why I like it. I don't expect to ever see it. But yeah. We're a long way from that stuff. But yeah, Mark Ruffalo is an adult pretender. He's an empty-headed moron who can speak very freely from the comfort of his own mansion and tell us how to live. And he used to be an actor I liked until I started hearing him speak publicly, and I'm like, oh, he's dumb. The alt-right doesn't exist. 300 million people in this country, and every last one of them thinks some other group is the alt-right. JWT6577 for $5. You are absolutely correct, sir. The alt-right, if you want to get literal, yes, there is a group of alt-right people that's probably a couple thousand strong. They aren't, you don't need to worry about it. See, but the thing is, they love to conflate. So now everybody who wore a MAGA hat or supported the president, the last president, was a Yahtzee of some kind. And even if you're like someone like me who said, you know what, I don't think that. It's not true. He might be somebody you disagree with, and that's fine. But now we took that to a whole new level. And it fed into the panic that the media was feeding all of us for the last year. And now you have a traumatized nation. And now you're going to have people who will never leave their house again, ever. They're traumatized for the rest of their lives. You got to try to live without fear. I got to try to live without fear. I do it a lot. I'm not worried about that shit. One example. Twice as many people died from drug overdoses than of the coof in San Francisco. We're going to lock down the Walgreens, the CVS, and no, it's heroin. That's the drug that's killing everybody. Meth generally doesn't freaking kill you like fucking heroin does. For one, getting addicted to meth is so disgusting that a lot of people end up quitting it, or they go to heroin or something like that, and that kills you. But heroin is to replace your inability or to get the opioids that the same pharmaceutical companies that are making our vaccine right now got a lot of people addicted on pain medication, and they knew they were making stronger pain medication, and they didn't care. They were warned against it. And all these doctors who we're praising right now, and these nurses who are doing the little fucking dances on TikTok, they were pushing that shit too because of the pharmaceutical companies, and they helped the epidemic. You know what? You break your arm, you don't need oxycodone. You don't. I broke a bone. I broke multiple bones. Never took that shit. Yeah, it hurt a little bit. That stuff is dangerous, man. Fucking oxycodone, Vicodin, all that stuff. The nurses were pushing it. The doctors were pushing it. Now, most of them, I understand, innocent. But there is no doubt that pain medication has been overprescribed in this country for fucking years, and nobody's called the doctors out on it. Nobody has. I will, though. I will, because I've seen the fucking end result in meeting after meeting. Watching 20-year-olds die, rehabs, all that shit. Sorry, I went on a tangent there, but yeah, that's, people putting fucking Pfizer tattoos on their body. You know, like how many fucking people Pfizer has killed? Fuck Pfizer. Fuck them all. Last time I was in rehab at the camp, it was 2013. Two kids I met there, they were dead within a week. And after a year, right? So we went, it's like going in with a class. So you get pretty tight with a group of people you're spending 30 days with, just trying to get, sober and stuff. You get pretty tight with them. Within a year, I was the only one out of that group sober. And I even, I went back out after the rehab, and then I got sober on my own. But everybody I went with, they had all gone back. And two of the 20-year-old kids, one was 21, one was 22. One wanted to be a pilot. He was telling me how much he wanted to be a pilot. He's like, going to go to school. I'm going to get my life together. He was fucking dead in a week. Went back out, hit the heroin. It's sad. Thanks, Pfizer. Hail, Gary. Hope you are well. An audiobook recommendation for you is Vert by Jeff Noon. I haven't heard of it. A great story. If a little strange in places, but well worth a listen. I love Strange randomized for $4.99. Absolutely love it. And Audible, I would happily shill for you. Audible. I almost did, and then they never called us back. We had a thing going right before the coof. I do have a sponsor. Finally got a sponsor that we're working out something legit with, or Mrs. Nerdrotic, the chief enthusiasm officer, the CEO, is working it out, and we will let you know what that is soon. And it's related to something you drink. Geek Tropology, welcome to the Geloja level. You are welcome, sir. Welcome. Fabius won for $5.99 Australian. Hey, did you see my email about the woke board game? I did not. I will check it out, though. I mean, a woke board game, is it like a joke on it? If it's like a woke board game making fun of woke culture, I would definitely check that out. So we're going to go to the donation side real quick. Let's see. Refresh here. How's the connection, guys? Is it okay? Vagabond, Harwood Benthau, Douglas Nelson. There it is. What? Dude. David. Jesus Christ. David. Oh, wow. I don't know what to say, man. This is the biggest super chat outside of a charity that we were on that I've ever. It's a donation. This is incredibly generous. So this week's episodes will be sponsored by David Harvey on the donation side. Donated $1,138 fracking dollars. Holy shit. Oh my goodness. Oh, happy belated Star Wars Day. That's right. The real Star Wars Day was yesterday. Cannot believe it's been 44 years since George Lucas's amazing creation hit the silver screen, and nearly 6 years since Kathleen Kennedy, JJ Abrams, killed Star Wars, RIP, MCU, Star Trek, and Amazon. Looks on track to deliver an RIP to LOTR. And yes, I have stated for years now on this channel, if Amazon fucks up Lord of the Rings, I will dedicate my channel. You know, I could do the 4 videos things a day. I could easily do that. I would have to stop live streaming regularly, and I'd have to stop the nooners, but I could do the 4 video things a day. Easy. And you know what? It would probably be more profitable for my channel. My channel would probably be bigger. But I like live streaming. I love live streaming, as a matter of fact. Fucking love it. David Harvey, thank you. I don't know what to say. Wow. So I'm going to read that with the guys on Friday Night Tights too, and get their response, because I want to hear what their thoughts are on your comments. You know, Robert Meyer Burnett, David, brought up something that I thought about yesterday when in our brief conversation on Az's Hot Toys live stream. By the way, go, you know, if you want a good fun stream where it's people talking about toys, check out Az's Hot Toy streams. It's every other Wednesday before the Nerdrotic Nooner. Yes, I actually moved the time from this so I don't step on Az. You know, I do it as much as I possibly can. I've got to work into my schedule too. But Robert Meyer Burnett mentioned that, you know, we're celebrating a franchise that's 44 years old. It's almost 50 years old. Now, there have been a couple of Star Warses since then. I would argue Lord of the Rings would have been maybe equal to that if they had released the movies a little farther apart. Now, I understand everything they did, and it worked. But the reason Star Wars worked is it was of its time. And those 3-year breaks in between movies, for one, they were great, and they made you wait 3 years, not 2 years, not 1 year, 3 fracking years. That's an entire generation. So what were the Star Wars after that? I would argue Lord of the Rings to a certain extent, but not, you know, it wasn't the cultural phenomenon that Star Wars was. It's the greatest trilogy of all time, and it's better. It's better than Star Wars, but it's not the cultural phenomenon that Star Wars was. And then there was Harry Potter, which I believe was a cultural phenomenon equal to Star Wars. That will be popular for generations. And we're just about at the 10-year rule for the end of the movie series. We're about at the rule where it's going to get a resurgence. I would say we're about 5 years away from the resurgence, and that will be something that's popular forever. But Star Wars is old, and we really haven't, you know, we're celebrating something that old. So while it's great, and we acknowledge how great Star Wars it was, Star Wars died in 2012, on December 21st, 2012, when Disney finalized the deal with George Lucas. That was it. It was done. So now we're celebrating just past greatness. Disney, of course, got rid of the EU, which was really fucking dumb. Then they didn't put Han, Luke, and Leia together in a movie, which was really fucking dumb. And then they attacked their fans, which was the nail in the fucking coffin. The only reason it's still around is because Disney has resources and there's enough consumers out there to go out and consume. That's it. Now, I'm not talking about the people who maybe dip in on Bad Batch or whatever like that. I'm talking about like the people who are like collecting stuff and like really into Disney Star Wars, which isn't much. And they know it. Now we see Amazon making those mistakes, the same mistakes as Star Trek, and we see the MCU making these mistakes. And what I believe is the mask coming off Kevin Feige. I think Kevin Feige is certainly responsible for helping create one of the greatest franchises of all time, but he wasn't solely responsible, but he will be for its destruction. Outside of Infinity War, like how much great MCU have we gotten since Civil War? Not much. It's been a while. Yeah, they're making the same mistakes. They smelled their own farts long enough to start believing that they were the reason the MCU is great. Kevin Feige isn't the reason the MCU is great. The MCU is great because it has decades of source material created by people like Jack fucking Kirby and Stan Lee and Steve Ditko and John Romita Jr. and Frank Miller. And I can go on and on. They had great fucking people creating great stories, all-time classics, stories that never had an end, that were groundbreaking, and they were free to do what they want because they were a niche for so long. They were free to be themselves. And Disney came in and destroyed that. So we got the MCU. It was a pretty fucking good run, but it came at the cost of the entire comic book industry. And now they're making the same fucking mistakes that the comic book industry, to a letter, they are making the same mistakes that the comic book industry made. And that has led the comic book industry into destruction, absolute destruction. Where it's getting just destroyed by manga right now. And for the hardcore superhero fans, they're just buying back issues. I spent 5 hours yesterday talking to Az and bagging and boarding my back issues. It's going to take me the rest of my life to read that shit. I don't need to buy another new fucking comic. And there's still stories to tell, but here's the bottom line. Amazon is unwilling to make a faithful adaptation to Tolkien's Lord of the Rings Second Age. Kevin Feige is unwilling to adapt the decades of great Marvel comics with heroes we haven't seen yet and skipping ahead to the Eternals because the Eternals was fucking woke. That's what put it up the ladder. JJ Abrams is incapable of making anything good because he sucks. But Warner Brothers is unwilling to admit they made a mistake. Their egos are getting in the way, and it's going to end up costing them. Their shit has failed before it's even begun. Lord of the Rings has failed before it's even begun. And quite frankly, the greatest franchise ever created, the MCU, is done. Now, the MCU can survive a couple of flops, and it can turn shit around, but they're unwilling to do what needs to be done. Jennifer Salk had a hit on her hands from Amazon. She had a Ryan Condell Conan series, which would have been fucking badass. She canned it because it was too masculine. So now we have things being made that are fucking straight up going to say it, masculine properties with no masculinity. Who in the fuck wants to see that? No one. Not even the bullshit bankers who are pushing this shit on it. They don't want to see it because they don't want to see any of it. Ta-Nehisi Coates writing fucking Superman. Fuck you, Jar Jar Abrams. Is that your plan for the DCEU? Intersectional feminists writing for Lord of the Rings. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Thank you, David Harvey. Stephen Kraft for $5 on the donation side, and thank you so much. And again, that was on the Streamlabs donation. Thank you, David Harvey. $1,138. 1138. We got you. THX 1138. George Lucas. Well, I'll read this. Sorry. Stephen Kraft for $5. Hail, Gary. Have any other cast members in the new Predator movie have been announced? Are we really getting this 19-year-old Sioux actress being the Predator, beating the Predator by herself? That diminishes the Predator in a franchise that was already on life support. I would say the Predator franchise is dead, and this one's dead on arrival. This movie, if it gets made, you know what? I hope it gets made, because it's going to be Dark Fate times 10 of a flop. It'll probably go straight to streaming. Nobody wants to see this. I mean, the girl is like, she's cute. She looks very young. She was in Legion, and her role was largely non-speaking. Do you want to know why her role was largely non-speaking? Because she's not that great of an actress. Now, she's on some Roswell show on CW that I completely ignore, but I'm guessing it's CW. So Feelings in Hallways, whatever. But Legion started out a very good show, a very unusual show that broke norms, that in a very genuine way, because Noah Hawley, before he bit into the woke shit, was a talented fucking guy. The guy's really fucking good at what he does when he's not biting into the woke shit. So she played a character called Carrie Loudermilk, and there was another character named Carrie Loudermilk, and it was one person, it was one being, or one being occupying a body that can only occupy one space. So it's two different people, but only one person can come out at a time. Basically, that was the mutant ability. So of course she broke the gender norm, and she was the muscle, and the male part was the scientist. But it worked, right? And because this is a highly stylized, surreal show, you can buy that this really fashionable 16-year-old girl with a baseball bat, and they kind of insinuate that she has superpowers, for one, which makes it believable. Can fight all these bad guys. But no, we have by the way, the girl, I think it's Amber Thunder Thighs or Thunder something, what is 5'5" and 110 pounds. She's 5'5" and 110 pounds. A Predator would make very quick work of her. And the guns and the armaments required to beat a Predator, I doubt she could fucking lift half of them up. Like some could you see her like picking up one of those, like, well, I don't know shit about guns. So one of the fucking those Gatlin shit that whatever fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger had, she probably couldn't even fucking lift it up. And if she fired it'd knock her over. I would love to know shit about guns, but I'm not allowed to own any because I lost my gun rights with my felony. That's damn near 30 years old. But all this newfound love for felons, I hope they let us have our gun rights back. I think that would be great. Vagabond Ninja for $20, still donating, even though you bashed Return of the Jedi one day after its anniversary. You're awesome. Love your content. I didn't bash Return of the Jedi. I was critical of it. Thank you, Vagabond Ninja. Return of the Jedi has Ewoks in it. Ewoks are little teddy bears. They're little cute teddy bears that were supposed to be an allegory for the Viet Cong. For one, George. That's a little racist. Come on, dude. No. No, I don't like the Ewoks. I've never liked the Ewoks. I tolerate the Ewoks. I also tolerated Harrison Ford mailing in. I think his acting is terrible. It's utterly terrible. I also forgave that Han Solo didn't pilot the Falcon once in the final movie. These are minor things because there was, the fucking throne room scenes. I live for those scenes. The music is so fucking good. Yeah, but and then like Sliced Noodles or whatever the fuck his name is. Yeah, no. And I was the right age. I was like 14 when the movie came out. 13, 14. Empire is Star Wars. That is great all-time Star Wars. And that's what everybody should be trying to emulate is Empire. Empire. You want to make good Star Wars that people like, that's respected and sophisticated, fucking Empire. Go there every time. But thank you for the donation. Return of the Jedi is like, it's still better than most shit. And again, I watched it 15 times. I bought 15 tickets and went there 15 separate times over a summer to watch it. And that's a movie. So that tells you, like, I was a fan. Ellie for $5. When I saw that a live action RPG show was being produced by the CW, no less, it was going to be shit. CW is shit. It's basic shit. Except for, Lois. I used to like, there was things I liked on the CW, right? A couple of things. I liked Arrow season 1. Thought it was good. But Greg Berlanti, you see, there was, I'm forgetting the name. The guy got Me Too'd out of there, but there was a legit guy who was a legit comic fan who was part of the show, and he was actually the actual creative force. Greg Berlanti was the money. He was the producer. He wasn't the creative force. Once that guy left, it became full on Greg Berlanti, and that's when things got fabulous. And you know what? They got less masculine. Superheroes are masculine. They need masculinity. I'm not saying they need to be hyper masculine. Some do, but they're masculine. That's their, I'll use their language. That's their baseline. These are masculine things. And the ladies like that shit. They do. Ellie for $5. When I saw that I read that one. For $50. Lori Big M's for $50. It's so good. It's so good to see someone with common sense. Keep it up, my friend. Lori, thank you so much. And it's good to see you all here. We give each other hope. We make the world run. We're the ones who go to work that 8 to 5 or whatever, your 40-hour-a-week job. Some of you 60 hours a week. Some of you 80 hours a week. Fucking thank you. Working men and women. I mean, that's our audience, folks. And don't ever forget that. We are the conduit for the working man and woman who either is disenfranchised from, the mainstream media, from all of these institutions that let us all down, by the way, let us all down by lying to us, perpetuating narratives, dividing us, creating actual violence through a narrative in a film, through an actor spouting off from the comfort of their $1 million mansion, some of them surrounded by some of them in gated communities surrounded by walls, or protected by armed security telling you to get rid of your guns and that your business burning down was just a peaceful fucking protest. Fuck off with that shit. But they'll yammer all day long about the insurrection at the Capitol. But they'll just completely ignore the 47 confirmed dead, billions of dollars of damages during the violence last summer. 47 real people dead, by the way, not just fake people dead. Douglas Nelson for $3. What's up, Douglas Nelson? Check out the Nielsen report. He is a podcaster. After whatever Warner Media becomes, do you think Bad Robot's Black Superman still gets made? I'm suspecting Abrams' scam has just run its course and his power may be waning. I'm suspecting the same thing, Douglas. That's very astute of you, sir. I think JJ Abrams coming out there and actually having to be humble, I think he realized he overplayed his hands. And don't ever let anyone forget. I'm going to put it in every video I talk about him, so you've been forewarned. When he said last summer, during all that shit, right in the middle of it, fucking shit, people are losing their businesses. By the way, women of color, Black men and women, Asian men and women, Latino men and women, by the way, those were the people the most affected by the violence. Those are the businesses most affected by the violence that nobody talks about. I'll never forget that guy in Minnesota who lost his sports bar. He was in tears. He's like, I don't have the money I'm done. I'm done. Because it's important for the story. I usually don't like playing this identity politics shit. It was a black guy, by the way. It was fucking heartbreaking to see that. Right? And then we got Patton Oswalt going, it's a protest. Yeah, fuck yourself, you little fucking hobbit. And talking about getting Uber Eats and how great it's all to be locked down. Oh, man. Financially, we need to make them pay. So Jar Jar Abrams, his company decided to put out on Instagram enough white comfort. So that was, and he did it with a communist propaganda art. All right. So that's a communist talking point. And what it really says is enough middle class comfort, because that's who they're going for, because that's their biggest roadblock. It's not rich people. There's not enough. There's not enough rich people. If all the rich people paid their fair share like they expected, if all the rich people in the country paid 80% taxes, it would be a drop in the fucking bucket. No, they need it from the middle class too. They need the either destruction of it or, well, yes, they do. They need the destruction of it. That's exactly who they're coming for. You and me. And it's Black middle class, Latino middle class, Asian middle class, all Filipino middle class, all of that. That's who they're coming after. So that's what Jar Jar, the billionaire, I'm guessing he's a billionaire at this point, multi-millionaire, who said enough white comfort, enough comfort for the middle class. Guess what, dickhead? The shit that you produce is a luxury. It's a comfort. So the politics that you're trying to appease is not only antithetical, it's detrimental to your business model, dipshit. But they're trying to appease and distract. They don't really give a fuck about it. But don't ever fucking let that fucker fucking forget that he said that shit. Throw that in his fucking face. Throw that in Bad Reboot's face every time they say something. Also throw into their face that they shrunk Finn on the poster. That was a Bad Reboot production, folks. That means Bad Reboot people made that fucking decision along with Lucasfilm and Disney. Don't ever let them forget that. I'm going to mention every fucking time I bring up Disney Star Wars, you thank concentration camps, you shrunk Finn on the poster for China. You're full of shit. You know, a lot of SJWs like to say, you don't get, you know what? You don't get to make the narrative anymore, Disney Star Wars. CJ for $50. Thank you so much. Gary wanted to say thanks for your tweet showing support for Taiwan. Oh, yeah. My girlfriend is Taiwanese. Oh, that's awesome. And the CCP really is a threat, not only to her and our way of life in the West. Take care and hope to see you in August. I can't wait to see you too. CJ, thank you for the $50. It was at least, dude, it's just a tweet, man. I believe that shit. I want a free Taiwan. I want a free Hong Kong. I want a free Tibet. I want everybody free. Everybody. Yes, John Cena's a bitch. John Cena sold everybody who was a John Cena fan because he was all about the red, white, and blue and supporting the military. He's a fraud. He's a fucking fraud. He's a fucking SJW. He's a fucking Hollywood adult pretender. And he, you know what? He was always that way. That the act was I'm about the red, white, and blue. I'm about America. I'm about freedom. He's a fucking fraud. Total fraud. Bent the knee as quick as he could to fucking China because he was about to, I don't know, get reprimanded. Gina Carano has bigger balls than John Cena. And as I tweeted yesterday, Elliot Page has bigger balls than John Cena. John Cena's a little bitch and a fraud. And frauds are everywhere, folks. They're fucking everywhere. And it's kind of, it's up to us to weed them out. And again, I want you to really pay attention. And this goes triply, quadruply. I don't even know what the 5-1 is, but 5 times it goes for YouTubers. Judged by their actions, their behavior, not by what bullshit's flying out of their pie hole. Words are wind. $32 flavors of Nick Weiser for $5. Check out his channel, by the way. Nick Weiser's a good dude. I talked to him on the member streams. I like Nick. He's a nice guy. I'm uninformed on Dynamite comics beside The Boys. What other Dynamite titles do you recommend? Well, they're mostly Dynamite is Nick Ferrucci's. He's the publisher, and it's mainly properties. So they don't have a lot of original stuff. They do Deja Thoris. They got Red Sonja. Dynamite Comics is fat covers. I wouldn't say it's the highest quality reading in the world. Outside of The Boys, not really much. Unless there's some property you're interested in. Nick Ferrucci bent the knee to cancel culture as well. I was going to do business with them. I was planning on doing a variant cover of something. But then they threw Cecil to the wolves, and I backed out. So yeah, Dynamite Comics came out of Dynamic Forces, which was Nick Ferrucci, and what they did is they sold a lot of special covers, signed covers, and you had a Dynamic Forces certificate of authenticity. So an artist would like sketch a cover or sign it or whatever, and you'd sell it for like $14, $15 or $50 or $100. That's where he got his money. Collectors. Timothy Sullivan for $10. Gary, as his volume is too low, I can't hear him at all. I can't either. Which is funny. Jester Roanoke for $2. Hail, Gary. Love the Lord of the Rings video. Thank you very much. We need a slew more of them to show we will not stand for their reckless hate. We should start a Ride Out With Me campaign. Oh, hashtag Ride Out With Me campaign of videos to let Amazon know the fell deeds they plan for Tolkien will not stand. I love that. Hashtag Ride Out With Me. Let this be the hour where we draw swords together. Make a video. Make a Lord of the Rings video. Just some guy dropped one yesterday. It's a fucking bomb, dude. Every time that guy drops a video, it's a bomb. Go check it out. I shared it on my Twitter timeline. There'll be more Lord of the Rings videos and more Lord of the Rings talk. There will. I think my next video, I was going to do a Predator video, and then like one stupid thing happened after another. So I think I'm going to combine them all into like a big Hollywood is fucking dumb video. I think that's we'll see what happens. I don't write my videos. I guess the best way to describe how I make a video is like it gets molded together. I just start talking and see where the conversation takes me. Tim O'Sullivan, thank you for the $10. Gary, please do the Kathleen Kennedy watch report like you did with Az on the Real BBC. Inquiring minds want to know. I don't have the video or I do it. But I could say this just in. Kathleen Kennedy is still employed at Lucasfilm. Kathleen Kennedy is still employed at Lucasfilm. I hope she's fired. Yeah, it's it's on me to be as authentic and real with you guys as I humanly possibly can. I mean, like, you get what you get. Like, this is how I talk to anybody. You get what you get. Are there certain things if I'm asked directly, I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm asked directly something, there's, some stuff because of the channel or whatever I can't say, or I don't want to like bring anything down on another channel. I'm not here to go after my I'll reset my rule for drama. For example, drama. There's always some kind of op or drama going on behind the scenes. And for the vast majority of it, I am woefully and thankfully ignorant of it because I don't participate in group chats. I don't really, I've got my close friends who you see on Friday Night Tights. I do talk to them pretty regularly because they're my friends, but I don't get involved in Discord or anything like that. And that's no judgment on anybody else who does. I just don't have time. I've got a family. By the way, happy birthday to Nerdrotic the Tall. Happy birthday. He used to be so, now he's giant and adult. But yeah, I don't get involved in that shit. Yes. And I'm thinking, by the way, I'm grateful for this. People make videos about me. I think some Doctor Who guy made a video tearing me down, and some other people have been invoking my name and stuff. And I just let it go because it's a distraction and it's not anything I need to address because it has nothing to do with me. And if it was something I would address, I would do it behind the scenes. I wouldn't do it out in public because it distracts from what I'm doing here. Eye on the prize. We don't go after each other. We go after Disney. So I've had a hard and fast rule. I do not attack or get into bullshit with other fucking YouTubers. They're especially ones that I've I don't even watch or listen to or follow. Right. So, I know the Uber Eats driver has made videos about me, and fine. I don't care. I don't care. I can't be distracted by that stuff. I'm forging ahead, onward and upward, minding my own business, doing my own thing. If people get upset, I have no control over that. I can't do anything about it. And it's why the channel has grown, because I don't get involved in that stuff. Because nobody wants to see it. I'm a YouTube viewer too, and I don't want to see that shit. It bores me to death. I want to be informed. I want to be entertained. I want to laugh. And if it's going to be at somebody's expense, JJ Abrams, Kathleen Kennedy's, or laugh at me being a fucking idiot, that's fine. John Cena sucks now, then, and forever, says Luca. How do you pronounce that? Lucha Do. I'm sure there's an accent involved in there that I can't do, but thank you for the $10. Rob Atlas for $5. Gary, my fiance is also Taiwanese. She and I thank you for your comments. Thank you. And you're welcome. And it's it was just comments, but yeah, Taiwan is a country. I just repeated it over and over again because I got tired of fucking, for one, the whole point was John Cena said Taiwan was a country, whether he said it by accident, whatever. You should never have to apologize for that. He had to go and grovel like a fucking pig. They had him grovel, like licking fucking boots. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. Taiwan is a country, the country of Taiwan. Taiwan is a country. The country is Taiwan. All lives matter. All lives matter. I don't play by your fucking rules. I'm not going to say that shit. Fuck that. Fuck that forever. I have a theory. Feige still loves the comics, and that's why we're getting all these lesser known comics in the MCU and making them woke. That statement about using lesser known characters so he could save the X-Men thoughts. DJ, how do I pronounce this? Sickrick. Okay, I got it. I was like, what? Is that one word? No, I get what you're doing. DJ Sickrick. Is Kevin Feige getting the woke out of the way now so he doesn't have to do it with the X-Men and the Fantastic Four is essentially what you're asking. I would love to believe that. Like, if you're going to get woke with the Eternals, get woke with Shang-Chi, get woke with Miss Marvel, and then we're going to cast the X-Men and the Fantastic Four the way we want to cast it, and we're going to tell X-Men and Fantastic Four stories. Man, I would fucking love to believe that. I really would. But that's not it. Now, do I think they're waiting? Yeah, I do. I do. So we can hold out hope. There's nothing wrong with that. Kevin Feige deserves that, I think. From some of you, I'm kind of done with the guy. Because if we get the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, we're not going to get them with Iron Man and Captain America. I mean, they're dead. They're gone. I have it on video. I might show it someday, but I did a trailer reaction for the Eternals. And I'm largely not saying anything throughout it. I'm just like, what? This is stupid. But when that what's her name says, now that Captain Rogers is gone, I'm like, Captain Rogers? You mean Captain America? You can't say fucking Captain America in your own fucking fuck you. I went off. So it's on video. I'm like, Captain Rogers. That just fucking triggered the shit out of me. I was like, what? That's your MCU. So no, I can't hold out hope that Kevin Feige is playing some 4D chess. No, Kevin Feige he's the toast of Hollywood. He's the toast of Hollywood. He's one of them now. He sacrificed something to Moloch, and he's part of the cult. I have no hopes for any franchise. I believe they are purposely driving all of them into the ground because they want them to die, because they think it's the fruits of their patriarchy. It's the fruits of the patriarchy. Joan of Arc 33 for $19.99. You are correct. I'm not going to argue with that at all. You are absolutely correct. They are true tools of the patriarchy. Captain America is something they had a problem with 5 years ago. Now he's basically, to them, Captain America is Captain Nazi. That's the way they see it. The problem is, Hollywood ain't going to be around very long. A Hollywood with no tits, no sex, no violence, no fun ain't going to be around very long. Maybe the new Predator movie will be a heroine battling a sex predator this time, says Douglas A. Burton for $4.99. Maybe we're getting this all wrong. Maybe it's not actually a Predator movie. All hail Legion. I still understand why they canceled the show. I know it got pretty wishy-washy towards the end, but if Hollywood is not ready to embrace Legion, I do not see any hope for the rest of the franchise. Sean McD for $20. Yeah. Well, they canceled Legion before season 3, so they knew they were ending the show, and they still went woke. First 2 seasons were good, though. Daniel for $5. If they wanted to revitalize Predator back in the glory days of action and muscle while also promoting women's leads who can also physically fight. Gina Carano. Yeah. On the Inquisition, I said, if you want a Predator movie to be a hit, It's pretty fucking easy. Henry Cavill, Jason Momoa, Tom Hardy, Christian Bale, Christopher Pratt, Gina Carano, Gal Gadot, fucking Idris Elba, throw somebody up, I don't know, whoever, against the fucking Predator. Directed by Matthew Vaughn. Make $1 billion worldwide. It would. But that cast is too white, too this, too that, ba-doo. So like you can mix in, but I'm just thinking like, well, who are the best actors that I know right now? That would just get a lot of ladies and dudes to the theater. Gary, have you addressed Amazon buying MGM? Thanks for being you. Yes, I did. Chim247 for $5. I think they vastly overpaid for basically distribution rights to James Bond, which is already a dead franchise. So they just overpaid for a franchise that they won't make now because it's too toxic and it's too masculine. So the reason they did it was to get some properties for them to reimagine. So they're going to reimagine Stargate. They're going to reimagine what? Rocky? Rocky's a Sly Stallone franchise. So that's dead. Pink Panther. Nobody even knows who the fucking Pink Panther. Pink Panther was Peter Sellers. He's dead. So that's dead. James Bond, they don't fully control. They just, the Recallees or whatever, they control it for the most part. They have creative control. But $8 billion is couch money for Jeff Bezos. I think it's a precursor for something else. I think they're building up to buying somebody else. But yeah, it was like MGM's worth like $1 billion. It's not worth $8 billion. That was ridiculous. Vasidius for $20. Watching Star Wars Empire of Dreams the other day, it was an extra kick in the teeth, especially hearing George Lucas talk about how important the independence from the studio system was. Yep. And then he sold it to what he says, white slavers. Matt Guy for $2. Have you seen League of Gentlemen, BBC comedy series? I have not, but I heard it's good, Matt Guy. Thank you. Not another dime. Thank you for the $10. It's all going to fail because it's crap. Yes. Yeah, pretty much. Stop it. For 42 pounds, he says, preach, my brother. Says, hey, a channel called the Heels versus Babyface. Wait, hang on. That guy.
I'll eat your ass. I will eat your ass.
Stop it. Planet Musk vlog for $4.99. Comic movies were supposed to pump our investments, not destroy them. Wizard Mag predicted the MCU decades before, but not like this. Yes, Wizard Mag predicted a lot of the casting. And then Wizard Mag is going to go the way of the MCU, like the way of the dodo. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to a little channel called Heel versus Babyface, I've been trying really hard to build it. You know, even before I knew him, I was building it. And, I like to see the fruits of my labor. So please subscribe to Heel versus Babyface, whose entire career is thanks to me, basically. Thanks to me. Douglas A. Burton for $4.99. Did you ever read the Fathered and the Gray Mouser comics series? Mike Mignola artist. That would make a great series. I have not read that. That was probably, let me see. I saw a lot of comic books in my time. I did. Yeah, no. This one didn't even come across my radar that I know of. I'll have to check it out. Thank you. Hot coffee for $5. I sent you a recent super chat via Streamlabs regarding the Spellmonger series, but Wasn't able to stick around to see if you read it. No, I have not. But I can check. Let's see, Hot Coffee. It's not coming up. Have not read it, but I will check it out. How's that? I will check it out. Thank you very much. Stephen Lanudo. Chicken nuggets, alt-right, heroin. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. You say chicken nuggets, Stephen, and I'm just hungry right now. I'm just hungry. I had a little bit of lunch before this, but not much. Dude did a calculation that to go gas-free by 2035 would require a 1 MW nuke plant to be built every 3 weeks starting today just to provide enough energy to charge the cars. Reality is a motherfucker. Thank you, Jake DeVita. That's right. Yeah, we're not going gas-free anytime soon. Sean McD for $2. In the early days of EFAP, what was the problem Wolf had with you and several others of your colleagues? As he said several times, I know it's a long time ago, but I just don't understand it. I wasn't aware. I wasn't aware. Maybe he had a problem with us being anti-SJW. I don't know. I have no idea. I know Wolf Sean, it wasn't really a problem. It was just a disagreement on The Expanse. Like, he was more into the books. I was more into the show. And we had a debate about that a long time ago. But yeah, I have no idea if he had a problem behind the scenes. Was not aware. He's not on the show anymore. I wish him luck, though. I know he had some problems, and I know Mahler was always very supportive, and I was always supportive of him too. I liked him. Saw Fruit Loops the other day that had he, him, she, her. Oh God, they, them. Not even breakfast is safe. Opinion on woke army ad. Thanks for all you do. DeVito Frito for $5. Woke cereal. Is that where we're at? But that means it's almost over, folks. So that's the good news. So what's the good news about the predator casting, the Sandman pronouns, cereal, Coke being woke? Corporate wokeism means it's done. It's like when Coke was doing roller disco ads, like a year after roller disco was like a fad after disco for like a year. And they made a bunch of movies and stuff. And by the time all that shit came out, fad was done. That's where we're at. It's going to take a couple of years, but we're at the beginning of the end. The beginning of the end, because everybody's fed up with this shit. Because what it is it's what Carrie Smith, it's not about anything real. Okay. I mean, I see people talking about it all the time. Like, if you're criticizing a female character, you're a misogynist. If I say, I don't think Superman should be black, I'm a racist. That's what they say. I'm a racist. And a lot of this comes from the universities. It comes from the kids who somehow think they went to 4 years of school, they got a piece of paper, and they're an expert on something when they actually just studied a book, regurgitated some knowledge from an instructor. And what college is supposed to do is set you up for life. You're not finished with your journey. For some reason, they think that piece of paper means I'm done and I don't need it. Doesn't work like that, kiddo. So what we have is a bunch of intellectual dumbasses, to say the least, with no fucking real life experience and not understanding of how the world works. And they want to support things that are antithetical to our entire system. And these would be the first people eaten up by the new system, the one that they want. There are people who want something like communist China here. They openly want that. So more people are waking up to it and saying, fuck no, I don't want that. $5 says the big item coming is says Frank Sacco for $5. Maybe. I'm done with the new media, sticking to books, anime, and the older film shows. Examples, I'm reading Lord of the Rings for the first time and watching Inuyasha For the first time, stories made with passion and quality. Good. And enjoy Lord of the Rings, Eric D. Gonzalez, for $10. You will. You will. I know you will. I know you will. Crazy Cat Guy, thank you for the $1.49 super sticker. I appreciate it. Eating ice cream. Chris Mead for $2. Gary, I assume you want that Gandalf painting. That Gandalf painting? Is there a painting? Yes, I do. I do, Chris. Thunderstorm for $9.99. Talentless have robbed the talented. The talentless now have the power. They inflict us with woke, boring superhero abominations. My disappointment is immeasurable. Thunderstorm, mine is as well. And that's why we speak out. And we also speak out as to why. You have to point out the why. Because when you get into the why, then it gets into we learn lessons. We are informed that these lessons go outside of God dang. I just saw the stream blip. That those lessons go outside of entertainment. We're like, this isn't about fucking Star Wars. There's something bigger than this going on. You're going to talk about Powerpuff Girls reboot. I mean, just a little bit, that they made the Powerpuff Girls of scissoring lesbians because we needed that to happen. The kids show, the fucking kids show. Every week, apparently, Kathleen Kennedy is going to get fired. It's a big secret, sources say. Thunderstorm, this just in. Kathleen Kennedy still works for Lucasfilm. And just to reset the guy asking, I mean, it's okay to ask questions about EFAP. Like, EFAP's a great show. I love EFAP. I watch it. I love Rags. I love Mahler and Word of Wolf. I mean, he hasn't been around in a while, but Mahler and I have talked about him. There was a time we were worried about him because he was in a kind of a bad way, but he's doing better now, I think. And that's good. That's good. Those who fail to plan to fail. Not JJ. Oh no. Thanks for all the great content on Friday Night Tights and the BBC. Thank you, The Real Vector, for $5. It's good to have a plan. Breaking news, Marvel Studios 20th Century Fox have entered into a 3-year overall exclusive television deal with producer Jack Schaefer. She will develop 3 television projects for both Marvel Studios, Disney Plus, and 20th Century Fox on all platforms. Oh. Jack, I don't know who Mephisto is. Schaefer is going to run more Marvel. Fucking DC fans are just laughing. If yours, see, the thing is, though, you're just as fucked. I mean, this is it. This is it. Superhero genre. Well, it's not a genre, right? The superhero movie has seen its best days. Seen its best days. Adios. Thank you for the $50, Mikey Gusler. Fucking Jack Schaefer. Oh, you showed us, Marvel. You showed us. Oh, it's like, we'll show those Nazis. We'll hire Jack Schaefer and put her, maybe her and Leslie Headland, the former assistant to Harvey Weinstein, who probably helped Harvey Weinstein get his victims, in my opinion. In my opinion. Epstein didn't kill himself. Yeah, maybe those two could develop a story together. What's your favorite Star Wars? Leslie Headland, former assistant to Harvey Weinstein. All the Star Wars. I think all the Star Wars is good. Yeah, they're good. Remember Brothers Hildebrandt, Lord of the Rings paintings, calendars? Oh, fuck. Bell's nickel. How could I forget? One of my favorite is on the cover of the cassette collection of the BBC audio series, which is just adorable. I was so happy that I got to put a clip from the BBC audio series in one of my videos. I was just immensely proud of myself for that one. Those who break something to find out what it is have left the path of wisdom. Aqua Silver Mist for $20. Hey, Gary, first time donating. Why? Thank you. Have been watching for a few weeks now. Lord Biden seems that he's ready to come after our guns at the ATF director and Waco after the AT director and the Waco travesty, David Chip, which may ban rifle calibers over 22 rifles over 22 calibers. That sucks. But considering I can't own a gun, but my wife can. Yeah, that's what keeps us free. And if they're going to come after guns, all you have to do is ask them this. All right, you got to start with all the illegally owned ones, which means you're going to have to send armed police officers into the hood. How's that going to work out for you? How are the optics on that one? By the way, I'm not for that at all. Yes, there's probably as many illegal firearms as there are legal firearms in this country, and it's the illegal firearms that are 99.9% of the problem, not the legally purchased one. But you never hear about that on the real news because, that would be pointing out an uncomfortable fact, kind of like Asian violence. Just showing some love and support. Absolute jealous over your Gandalf figure. As always, amazing content. Oh, thanks. And thank you. And where is it? Oh, it's over here. I can't. It's way over there. I'll show you on the next one. I got to set up the gate and everything. But the Gandalf, I got an Osmus Gandalf figure, and it's fucking awesome. Bones B for $50, and that was $20 by Aqua Silver Mist, by the way. And that was $50 from Bones B. Thank you. And it was Aqua Silver Mist for $20. Uber B Man for $4.99. Hail Gary, I blame Twitter, Facebook for the state of movies, films, comics, and politics. They are cancer to society and setting humanity back. I agree. I had been spending far too much time on Twitter over the last week. So I'm back. Hard and fast rule, 1 hour a day tops. Try to not be on an hour a day, but 1 hour a day tops. Twitter followers, while I appreciate them, doesn't relate to YouTube. YouTube is my platform. That's where I'm going to say my piece. If you come and do the Twitter drama thing on YouTube, only people who go on Twitter are going to even fucking notice that. It's good once in a while for reference and shit like that. But mainly it's just like drama. It's just like drama. It's a big distraction to actual content creation. Jesus Davia for $20. I love listening to these streams and videos. The greatest gift people like you, Jeremy from the Quartering, Ryan Kinnell, Yellow Flash, and many others give us is perspective from someone who is young and still learning. Thank you. Jesus, you're welcome. And thank you for the $20, youngster. What are you spending that on my channel? Keep that money, dude. You're welcome. Well, yeah, it's like we all need to reset. I'll use my statements. I need to reset my perspective from time to time, right? We all need a little perspective. For instance, if I ever get too excited about like this channel, right, and being on YouTube, I mean, it's fucking awesome to hear like people are wearing my shirt in nuclear plants, and I got recognized in my gym like 3 months ago because of one of my California videos. It's nice. It's cool. It's like showing that the fruits of my labor, right? But this channel's about you guys. The reason we're here on YouTube and the reason things are growing is because they have been so shitty. Like the Access Media has been so shitty and horrible to you that we just kind of found each other. And again, we're entertaining. But if I ever get too proud of myself, shit goes to my head a little bit too much, I just got to remember, all I have to do is look at YouTube and look at what some of the competition is. And without naming names or anything, I'll just remember there's a certain Uber Eats driver that got to 165,000 subs. And then that's what sets my perspective. It's And then I remember that I walk around all day. Nobody fucking recognizes me at all. And that's good. That's my perspective. It's not about getting recognized, by the way. That's not what it's about. It's about having fun, making the best content I can, and talking to you guys. I can't wait for the meetup in August. I cannot wait to meet you guys, if you can make it out. There was a good idea for a Predator franchise that was from Dark Horse. It was Predator versus historical warriors, like Predator versus the Viking, Predator versus a knight, Predator versus Japanese World War II warrior, Predator versus 18th century African explorers. Yeah, and that's what maybe they're pulling from this. This is Predator versus a squaw who's going to reverse her gender norms. Because nobody wanted to see that. The Grizzly for $20. There's a lot of good ideas from Dark Horse that I just don't think they would work on film, because what works in comic books doesn't always work in film. And the Predator is an Arnold Schwarzenegger franchise. Now, if you wanted to emulate the Predator's success, then you get a big, buff, popular actor to fight the Predator and barely win. And I need to add to the story. And the thing was, the more you added to the Predator, the less mysterious the Predator became, which you said you got to fight. We didn't know much about the Predator at the end of Predator. And then so our imaginations filled in the blanks. And we don't need everything explained. I don't need to see a Predator as a baby and see its upbringing and maybe how the Predator subverted gender norms. Let me tell you something about fucking gender norms. You know what? You know what people thinking about gender norms are? Affluent, lucky motherfucking people. People who should be thanking whatever fucking god or goddess they fucking pray to every fucking day that they have the time to sit around and talk about gender fucking norms, and they're not out hunting for food or digging a hole for water or wondering if their water has some like fucking human shit in it, or they're going to die from the water or die from the food. Yeah, because we're not that far away from that. We're not that far separated from that. And because we have a bunch of dumb motherfuckers sitting around fucking wasting their time thinking about gender norms instead of, I don't know, making the world progress farther, like actually progress, like going out, working. No, instead they're sitting at home collecting unemployment, thinking about fucking subverting gender norms. When the next thing we need to worry about is, I was for communism, but like the government's going to come and take my shit now too. Wait, I was for you guys though. I was on your side. How many BLM fucking marches did we see the guys like, I was on your side, and then like his house gets burned down? That's what these motherfuckers are. Dumb. So fucking obsessed with their own thoughts and ideology that they haven't even thought for a minute that they might be wrong. Though that's about 90% of Hollywood, by the way. Do you know San Franciscans sometimes don't report crime because they don't want to look bad on social media? Like they would rather get robbed, beaten, than look bad on social media. Fastidious for $19.99. Saw something that got lost in the news. McKinsey and Company came up with a plan to give kickbacks to pharmacies whose customers OD'd on Purdue's products. Now they're advising Hollywood and companies on diversity. Check it out. No shit. I'll look into that. Fastidious. Thank you for the $19.99. Here's what I'll tell you about fucking Pfizer and the company that came up with Vicodin and opioids. Also came up with something called Suboxone and Sublocade and another shot. So they created the problem, then they created the solution. Right? So these can be, instead of, they make it a lot easier. So they get you addicted so they can get you on another drug to get you off the addiction. But then you got to stay on that one for a certain amount of time. Or you get the Sublocade shot, which is somewhere around $2,000. You see how the fucking game is played? And everybody's praising these assholes for coming up with I can't call it a vaccine, right? Because it's not approved. I mean, if you got it, cool, whatever. I don't care. I mean, I'm probably going to have to eventually get it anyway, because I got to travel at some point, but we'll see. I'll tell you what, if I get it or not, I ain't going to fucking blast it and get a tattoo. Jesus. I miss Wolf. He was one of the first guys I met in the whole circle. Says back when entertainment was good, I think, right? I miss Wolf too. But I think those three were really fucking good together. They worked really good together. And I don't know what happened in Wolf's life. It's none of my business. I just hope he's okay. I know he's a youngster, right? So I remember when I was his age, I was passionate about, like, you think I'm a spaz now. I was a fucking spaz. If my friend Doug's out there, he can attest to this. I was a spaz when I was a 20-year-old. I was a fucking uncontrollable spaz. That was like even after the speed, right? But I know, like, very passionate about things, and I was very, I don't know, I judgmental when I was in my 20s. Very judgmental, very snobby, very judgmental. And I cooled down a little bit. So yeah, I remember when I was in my 20s. So I hope he's doing good. And maybe he'll come back. I don't know what's going on right now. And again, most of it's none of my business outside of, I hope he's on EFAP someday because he's entertaining. Fred Sacco for $5. You want to see tropical Fruit Loops? If you want to see tropical Fruit Loops, I'll show you a mock Tucker from Guatemala. G. Carlin. Oh. Thank you for the super sticker. Charles Crow for $3 for $6.65. The Neighbor of the Beast. A story needs to be planned. Who knew? I know. What the fuck? Are you kidding me? Darius McManus, thank you for the popcorn. Dario Sussman, thank you for the hot dog for 14 Danish krona. Guess Zack Snyder's new nickname is As Kiss Snyder. What a disappointment. I read that one too. I read that one. Gary's Massive Huevos for $4.99. Based on your BBC chat with Az yesterday, we need an autobiographical movie entitled Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, the Gary Beekler story. Maybe someday. I have to remember some of it, though. I don't remember all of it. But thank you. Shark dentures for $5. A Californian is never on time. He arrives precisely when the parting of the haze of wacky tobacco intends to. Yeah, I used to smoke a lot of wacky tobacco. I don't smoke it anymore, Shark dentures. I am a sober guy. I'm not a fan of the wacky tobacco. I'm glad it's legal. Like, fine. But I mean, every time I talk about my wacky tobacco views, I piss people off. Because it's not good for you. There's been a lobby telling you it's good for you, and it's your choice to do it. And like, smoking isn't good for you too, right? Or neither is vaping, and I vape, so I'm not judging or anything, but it's not good for you. Over anything taken daily, like every single day, is not good for you. It's just not. Especially the shit they're making these days. It's like fucking hardcore drugs. Now they got the synthetic pod and some vapes, and then there's the edibles and stuff. Again, if you're like somebody who like smokes on a weekend or something like that, that's just harmless. And that's what I'm very happy is legal. Very happy it's legal. I think all drugs should be legal, by the way. Very libertarian on that one. But I don't, because like the war on drugs is fucking bullshit. It always was bullshit. And it doesn't do any good. But pot, and again, this isn't everybody. If this doesn't affect you that way, then don't worry about it. Pot made me fucking lazy and dumb. Made me lazy and dumb. Now I needed it to come down off of all the fucking speed I was on. So, and it was great till, like I'd do a bunch of fucking speed, then I'd smoke a bunch of bowls and listen to Pink Floyd animals pretty much all the fucking time. Mix it in with metal. But it's not good for you. It kills motivation. Now there's people who are rare who like get inspired from it and hyper and stuff. That you're not the ones I'm talking about. I'm talking about the ones who like melt in their couch and get stuck in life for 2 or 3 years in the same place. But again, if you are just a casual user and it doesn't affect your life, I'm not talking about you. You're fine. You're fine. Nerdy Girl Creates. Thank you for the Craven news. Yeah, so the Craven is cast. Here's Aaron Taylor Johnson. Aaron Taylor Johnson. That's what I think of when I see Craven. Is that the director? I don't know who this person is. Is it a hyphenated last name? It's a man with a hyphenated last name. Enough said. Hail Gary of Nerdrotic. How goes the UFO stuff? I know you and Doomcock are into it. Have you ever actually seen a UFO in real life? Grizzly for $5. I have not. Nope. I believe they exist. I know a couple of pieces of footage that have been leaked out lately are not UFOs. They're not. They were misidentified aircraft. So we do need to bring that up. So people don't start using that as it's all fake. But I do believe. I'm a believer. But I've never seen one. Roger H., thank you for the thumbs up and the $1.99. I appreciate you. John Thomas for $5. It's not that he doesn't prioritize things. He just has no effing clue how to finish it. He killed off too many. Yes. Yep. Oh, and George, what are you talking about? George or Jar Jar? George, no, I don't think he's killed off too many people. They're going to resurrect Jon Snow. So I don't know why they're wasting his time. I guess he needed something to happen to change Jon. But George can't finish the book because he set out to break tropes. So he had no real foundation when you're going out and breaking stuff. And if you're going about stuff all nihilistic and postmodernism, there's no satisfying ending there. If you're making a foreign film, great, but he's making high fantasy, which still has to deliver on a fantasy level, which means battle, fucking sorcery. Now, yeah, chance and anarchy can work within the structure, but at the end, you still need to have a big battle. You still need to do some of that basic stuff. Jim Whitehead for $5. Could you have a contest with cool prizes for the best love ending to George's book? Yeah, I could do that. I have enough stuff I could give away. Vasidius, thank you again for the $100 super chat. Elkin for $7.99. Hi, Gary. A great way to start today with Hot Toys and Gandalf unboxing. Now, Nooner, thank you. Really needing the escapism today. Oh, well, my pleasure. For $7 Australian dollars, $7.99. Thank you, Aiken. For $5, Sean Crummell. The Eternals is Marvel's version of the garbage High Republic. It really is. It's like Snowflake and Safe Space level fucking bad. It is fucking bad. Those costumes are horrible. They should be embarrassed. I mean, there's plot holes in the fucking 2-minute trailer. How does that get past anybody? Oh, they don't give a shit because that trailer was fucking horrible. It didn't look anything like Jack Kirby. It looks mailed in as hell. And it was still #1 trending on fucking YouTube, which doesn't say a lot about YouTube. Maybe Gina's claws. Oh, I read that one. There's Casey Osowski. All right. Whew, hungry. Fringe was pretty good, and The Force Awakens had potential. Then it all went down to hell. Said Harry Patensky for $13. Yeah, I didn't mind Fringe. I thought it was entertaining. Death Isn't Black. Really, Netflix? Del Webb for £5. Yeah, I mean, you could have you could have race swapped like a lot of other characters besides Death. So that was very specific. But if you point that out, you're racist, Del Webb. And then that's when you say, I don't give a fuck what you think. I don't play by your fucking rules. And I'm not going to have to defend myself for shit you don't know about. I don't think about stuff. I don't think about life that way. I don't think of, Az brought it up earlier with the whole plane. Like I'm on a flight to Vietnam. I need to have a Vietnamese pilot. And there needs to be more representation. So it needs to be a paraplegic Vietnamese pilot who's bisexual, non-binary, whatever. You know what? I ain't getting in that fucking plane. Hi, Gary. The Babylon Bee just reported Golem has put his pronouns on his Twitter account. It's funny. Watch it. It's only 2 minutes. It's oursies and theirsies. It's our. Thank you, Gorman Kyle, for $5. Oursies and there these. I want to hear just some guys does the voice great. Hail, Gary. Love the channel. I'm older than most of you kids, but you youngsters have inspired Brownie and I to be silent no more. I'm still wary of Twitter. Seems like it's actually toxic. Brownie's thoughts, it's actually toxic. Don't get on it. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. I've seen it derail. I've seen it obscure. I've seen it prevent YouTube careers. I have, genuinely. I think there's some YouTubers out there, if they spent less time on Twitter, would have bigger YouTube channels. Gentle on James for $5. Tell me about the loneliness of good Gary. Is it equal to the loneliness of evil? The loneliness of good Gary. Gentle one James, $5. How do I answer that? I think loneliness. I don't feel loneliness anymore. I used to when I was a kid. I had a lot of issues with it when I was a kid, but that was like my abandonment stuff because I was adopted and I was working it all on my head. I'm like, why did my parents bail on me? This is like when I was 5 and 6 when I first found out. You didn't understand. I'm like totally cool with that shit now. No, I am happy. I'm fine to be alone, but I'm never alone. Like, I can't remember. I mean, I'm alone in my office, but my family's always here. I've been around somebody constantly since prison. So, I remember when I got out of prison, I definitely went to a beach and I didn't want to be near fucking anybody. I was like, I need to be away from absolutely everybody just for a couple hours. Because I haven't been, because I've been surrounded by people for 2 years. It was great. But yeah, not lonely guy. Hail, Gary. I read that one. Hi, Gary. Oh, I read that one too. Oh, I got to go down. That's why I miss. All right. So we're caught up. All right. I'm going to get to some donations, then we're going to wrap it up. If I missed anything, the super chats. So here's how we're structuring the super chat squares. By the way, they're on Nerdrotic Live. Please subscribe to Nerdrotic Live. We're going to mix and match as much as we can. I'm trying to bring in some of the old with the new now. So if you are curious about a super chat or anything, you can DM X-Ray Girl or try to email me and we'll tell you either what episode it's in or what episode it'll be in. It's still a couple weeks till I'm like even getting close to like because I took a vacation and I'm still catching up from that. But I am working my ass off trying to get that fixed. Working my ass off. But we got some donations here. So hang on. Let me refresh here. We're not done yet. Not done yet. Tracy Wilborn for $5. Did you ever read Evan
Darkins Milk and Cheese Comics. Are you a cartoon of hate or a wedge of spite? I was aware of the Milk and Cheese. I did not read them. No, Tracy, I did not read them. Wasn't my thing. Wasn't my thing. I was very for music. I was into punk and underground and all that stuff. When it comes to comic books, yeah, I'm pretty fucking mainstream. I was mainstream superheroes. Like Vertigo was about as edgy as it got for me in comics. But with music, different story. Different fucking story. Vagabond Ninja. I wonder if the Eternals writers even know Thanos was an Eternal of the Titan colony. Makes it much more difficult to legitimately explain why they weren't there for Infinity War. Yeah, they're just going to have to change the entire lore, right? They're going to have to change the entire fucking lore. And there was a plot hole within the trailer. For one, they said, we've been guiding the human race, yet we don't interfere. What? And the thing is, somebody probably caught that and just went, the audience isn't going to care. They don't give a shit. We're Marvel. These fucking idiots are going to lap up whatever we give them. And you know what? You can't argue with them. You can't argue. Thank you for the $20. Yeah, they're just going to change the entire lore canon. I mean, the Avengers are named after Carol Danvers' fucking plane, and Nick Fury got his eye scooped out by a little kitty cat. It's fucking retarded. Hey, Gary, if you've been in a good legal standing for a long enough time, you usually can challenge in court to get those gun rights reinstated. Dude, do all that in time. It's not always an easy process, but it's possible. Stay moist. Targo the White for $3. Yeah, I'd have to get a lawyer. That was the thing, is like, I'm like, do I need a gun? But now I'm like, yeah, I'd like to have my gun rights back. I would. But it requires getting like a straight up pardon, which was, I really wanted to get a pardon when Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor so he could have signed my pardon. But like Gavin Newsom, do you think Gavin Newsom's going to give me a pardon? I mean, they're going to have to look into it a little bit. I might have to wait for the next governor. James Fowler for $5. Gary, Gary, I sent you a message, but I don't think you noticed. But when the show started with the commercial, get this, shame the cop with Ching Chong Bing Bong t-shirts written in Chinese. I'm not kidding. You can't make this shit up. No, what? Shame the cop with Ching Chong Bing Bong t-shirts? What the fuck was that? You got to be, no way, James, really? I won't be able to see the commercial unless they put the same commercial on when it go. Yeah, that's weird. Thank you for everything you do. I appreciate you and your content so much. Just wanted to say we need to go back to gatekeeping. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Listen, when it comes to gatekeeping, it's very simple. If you want to be a fan and you genuinely want to learn the lore, everybody's welcome. And it doesn't matter when you get here. We're happy to have you, and we're happy to help you whenever you need. If somebody goes, hey, I want to get into Babylon 5, you're going to have a lot of instant fucking friends willing to fucking help you, saying, hey, I want to get into anime. There is going to people tripping over themselves to help you. That's what fandom does. If you're all, hey, Lord of the Rings fans, Tolkien's a racist and so are you. They're going to tell you to fuck off, and they're going to close the gate. It's going to be, they're going to close the gate. Here's the gate. No admittance except on non-activist business. Fuck your activism. Your activism can suck a dick. Fuck your activism. I don't care what you went to school for. You don't impress me. Your haircuts don't impress me. Your pronouns don't impress me. Nothing impresses me about you. That's why I am very confident if there was ever a battle, we would win. And half of y'all are lucky that we're very restrained adults when you're running out there. Because remember, BLM and Antifa targeted middle-class neighborhoods. And you're lucky a lot of these middle-class people have enough responsibility to know, I could shoot this motherfucker right now, but I won't because I don't want to go to jail for the rest of my life. It's just a fence. Why? You can get away with that shit for a little while. For a little while. For a little while. You're a little LARPing. Just wanted to say we need to go back to gatekeeping. We need to keep calling out the posers in Hollywood. Squeaky wheel gets the oil. Let's get squeaky nerds. Yep. It's time to start calling the shit out. And it means with everybody. And everybody goes under scrutiny, even fucking here on YouTube. Even here. Like I said, what did we learn this week? I learned a lot. A lot of shit I was completely unaware of. I fucking learned a lot. And I'm glad I did. Incognitius Jones for $15. Thank you for that was it. That was from Emma Peel and Indiana Jones. Both smirked a lot and looked charming doing it. But not everyone can pull that off. Diana Rigg and Harrison Ford are fucking, were one's an amazing actor, one's a former amazing actress. Diana Rigg was fucking hot, by the way, too. Brie Larson and Tessa Thompson can't. As much as they want to try. No, Brie Larson and Tessa Thompson are not talented. And you know what Brie Larson and Tessa Thompson would have been in the 70s? Guest stars on Columbo. Stephen Kraft for $5. Hail, Gary. Have another cast member. Have any other cast members been on the Predator movie since? Or are we really getting a 19-year-old? Okay, I've read that one. All right, Hardwick Benthau, who's left a book. I can read a couple before I back out. Thank you for, where is it now? Emma Peel. I read that one. Sorry. Here's the next one. Disney wanted Chloe Zhao to use green screen sets on the Eternals, but she insisted on real locations and practical sets. And Feige convinced Disney to let her. Feige bragged about how much of her footage was created 10% in camera with no VFX in posted. That's bullshit. I'm calling that bullshit, Hardwick. That's a fucking lie because I saw about half green screen on that trailer. So are you saying all the other, are you talking about exteriors? So she was able to go out and shoot exteriors, but were the actors there? Were they in front? Are you going to fucking tell me that triangle scene is actually somebody on the edge of an ocean where the triangle? That's utter bullshit. Let's take a look. Let's take a look right fucking now. I'm calling such bullshit on that. Hang on. Let's take a look at this. External shots from the muted color, drab looking, very appropriate end of the world. This is a bunch of shit, horse shit, bullshit, horse shit, bullshit. There we go. Yep, I'm sure they shot an ocean there. That looks real. Great. They're at a beach. That's not real. That's not real. That's not real. That's not. That's not.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Not really. It's boring. That's a studio. That's a VX. That's a. By the way, their costumes are too, by the way. Okay, that's real. She's in a cornfield or whatever.
We have watched and guided.
That's a repeated shot.
We have helped
That's not.
them progress.
She doesn't like those
and
curtains.
seen them
That's not.
accomplish
That's not.
wonders. Throughout the years, we have never interfered.
That's not. That's not. Diverse people saving diverse people's lives. It's so fucking moving. That's probably a real. That I'm sure the people are flying right there. That was so. We're saying that was a practical effect right here. We calling that a practical effect, or am I? Look at this scene right here. This is a Kirby. For those of you who don't know, I might have a picture available on my computer of something Kirby. There we go. There we go. I just got something handy. See how that is? So, do you get this vibe at all from this movie? You get that vibe? I didn't think so. Notice how Kirby is, he's very chunky is the best way I could put it. Like things aren't thin. Everything is thick, chrome. He's got that chrome effect going. Like everything is shiny. And then look at this shit. Muted colors, drab. Like the red doesn't even stand out. The green doesn't stand out. There's these like little wiry special effects that you can come and barely see. And like, dude, this movie's been done. It's been done. And we've cut back to the cave people like 6 times. Oh, yay, a Bollywood scene. That's like putting, and I like, you know what? No disrespect to Bollywood. It makes a lot of money. A lot of people love it. And that's great. Yeah. Oh, look, remember when Kit Harington said he didn't want to play any more masculine roles? Now he's playing the Black Knight.
ended when you said good.
How do you make Selma Hayek look kind of bad? And why is there a couple of fat people who are superheroes? And why is that guy in a fucking dress on the right? This looks awful. This is embarrassing. I thought it was going to be bad. I didn't think it was going to be that bad. Yeah, sure. They might be actually standing on a beach. Is that what we're impressed with? So you went out and had her shoot on a dirt fucking beach on a gray sky. Chloe Zhao is just such a genius. She's so amazing. The only reason they made fucking Eternals is because Marvel didn't want to get out virtue signaled by DC. DC went out and got Ava DuVernay to do the New Gods with Tom King. Then they were smart enough to cancel it, but Marvel went ahead and made their shit. And like, oh, we need to take the very masculine Jack Kirby because that's who the comic fans always go to, and we need to subvert the fucking norm. Well, I'm going to subvert your expectations. Or maybe you'll expect it from me now. I'm going to watch your movie flop, and I'm going to celebrate it because that's what you need. You need to be humbled, Marvel. You need to be humbled, Kevin Feige. I really thought Kevin Feige would be smart and get the fuck out of Marvel before it started doing shit like this so he could go out on top going, yep. Now it's, what's her name? Oh God, what's her name? Ella's, I can't remember her name now. The one who came out and said, we don't want to use the X-Men. It's X people or whatever the fuck she said. The one who's going to take over for him and he could go and take over Star Wars. That's what I thought would happen, but it didn't. You got me started on that Eternals trailer. I hope you got your dollar's worth out of that. That was a $1 donation. I know you've expressed a strong preference to Noel Neal, but what are your thoughts on Phyllis Coates? Phyllis Coates. Phyllis Coates. Phyllis Coates. From the radio show? Oh, was she in it before Noel Neal, the Mole Man, like back in the day? I honestly had not thought about her until you brought her up. Noel Neal. Noel Neal is fucking Lois Lane. End of story. Then of course there's Margot Kidder and then Erica Durance. Erica Durance is funny. She's smart. She's a good actress and she is hot as hell. Hot as hell. But Phyllis Coates was, I remember her now. I honestly hadn't thought about her. Vagabond Ninja. Thank you again. Okay. We're going to wrap things up, folks. Going to wrap things up. Let me check with Eric. Hang on that. Okay. 1 second. Sorry, folks. I hate that too. I hate it when I get distracted. That's why I usually turn the phone off. Secret to live streaming. Don't get distracted. Don't get distracted. Okay. I am out. If I missed, I'm going to double check a couple of things here before I go and say my thanks. And I appreciate all of you being here again. If the super chat is not going to get read, it gets read in a square up. We don't leave any behind. We don't take them for granted. It's not something I love, but I've got to eat and I've got to go about, I got to make videos, but I will read it. And I'm going to mix and match. There's going to be some newer stuff mixed in with the older stuff. So you're not going to have to wait as long. Okay. So we're going to do that. I'm not going to watch the Eternals. I'll wait for Axel Braun's version. The X-Turtles. Yes, Nicholas Horton for $5. Were those three forming the Unimind in the air? Sci-Fi George, the Unimind? Maybe. That's probably. A diverse group comes down to educate the primitive deplorables, Marvel's the Eternals. That's it. Bailey Yaddle. Harry Binsky says, Fringe was pretty good. And The Force Awakens, I read that one. Okay. Thank you again. Let me double check. Loquacious Primate, what's up, man? Hail, Gary. Maybe the whole end of the Mayan calendar stuff in 2012. I think Terex McKenna prophesied the significance of December 12th, 2012. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that. Was actually about the Star Wars Disney purpose. The Mayan calendar was counting down to the Disney purchase. Loquacious Primate, you're a genius. That's why you went to school and I didn't. We have solved the mystery here together. On the Nerdrotic Nooner, the Mayan calendar was counting down to the Disney purchase. I wonder if the Eternals writers even know. Okay, I read that one. Oh my God, that is so fucking great, Loquacious Primate. All right, I'm going to end on that one. Thanks, everyone. Again. Oh shit, hang on. Oh, hang the fuck on. George Ma. Oh no. Okay, that's good. I was like, nope. Good. Thank you to the Modrotics. Thanks, Eric K. Thanks everyone who out there. I know it's a thankless job, so the Modrotics, I love you. Thanks to everyone who super chatted and donated. You help keep the lights on. And please make sure to subscribe to Nerdrotic Live to catch the square ups and the live streams, which get imported over there. Video will be out in the next day or two. We've also got multiple square ups coming up in the next day or two, going through all the way Sunday. Finally got time to edit those, which was good, including some toxic mailbag, which I have been very excited about. And what else? What's the next one? Friday Night Tights with Chrissy Meyer. Chrissy Meyer. Very, very excited about this. And I'll have a new machine, so I won't be on StreamYards. OBS will return. Things will look nice, and the audio will be better. So thanks again to all of you all. Again, I want to also mention those of you who donate and super chat, help pay my mom's rent. And she appreciates that. She wants to always pass that on to you. You help her live as comfortable as she can. And we appreciate that. So have a good one, everybody. Enjoy some Perry Chan credit stuff.
Nerdrotic.com.